Wednesday on a Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, Coop. How you doing, man? Happy holidays to you and yours.
What up, brother? Same to you, man. How's your fam doing? How's everybody doing?
Everybody's doing great, man. We had that event, the According to Hip Hop event, Christmas party a couple of days ago. It was a really good time. I've been able to get all my shopping and everything done, and yeah, everybody is enjoying the holidays, getting together with some of my aunts, uncles, and what I'm saying, family tomorrow, exchange gifts. And then yeah, we're chilling after that, man. Other than dealing with the traffic and dealing with wrapping gifts and all that, everything's good, man. How's everything on your end?
Everything is good on my end. My mother's about to fly out to Miami to see my youngest sister. So my daughter and I, we just saw her off. I had one of those epic conversations with my daughter last night and today. We listened to some stuff. Like she had a couple of striking points about how like the melodies and the pace of the melodies kind of dictate the era of the rapper. Like when we were playing the Arm& Hammer and Alchemist album, she was like, "Oh, he's '90s inspired because like the beat pattern and the melody is slower. It's
Mm.
not it's not sped up like 42 Doug or G Herbo or those guys."
We still got to get you and Asaya on the show today. To not today, together to break down some hip hop and
Yeah, we
generations. I
played.
think it'd be really, really dope. We
Yeah,
got a
we
bunch of
played.
people coming in the room too, by the way.
We played the Pooh Shiesty together too. She was like the beats are dope. She was like he's all over the place though. What is he saying?
Well, let me get to the chat real quick, man. We got a whole bunch of people coming in. We got Terminator in. What up, Terminator? He said, Mike D, my nigga Coop, salute. Michael Williams said, what's up, guys? Man from nowhere said, let's go. Shyster30 said, what's up, guys? We got Casino Life said, Nas, LL, Drake, Kanye, Buster can stand on that stage with Jay. Yeah, we're going to get to that. TRM said, excited about the show today. Cousin08 said, big up Mike, big up Coop, sending positive vibes from London. Shout out to everybody out there. Philosophy says, first time catching the show. Love the show, guys. Listen. I love you guys too. And I am going to put my Rock Nation luncheon invitation in jeopardy today, breaking down a lot of things that most media outlets won't break down about the actual catalog of Jay-Z.
hmm
Listen, I have no problem with any artists having the confidence in themselves to say that nobody can stand with them because on a skill level, Jay-Z has earned that. Jay-Z, regardless of what people want to think about him as an individual, as, catalog, whatever, skill set and lyric to lyric and just being a mind of the game and a spitter, he has earned that right to feel like nobody can stand there with him on any stage.
hmm
But my problem is he's not going to entertain the stage. My thing is, if you're going to be that, do an open invite. Like Rick Ross said, man. Rick Ross said, I got 20 more for anybody who want it.
20-piece lemon pepper wet.
He said he got 20 more for anybody who want it. Imagine Michael Jordan sitting there saying, you know what, I'm the best, but I'm not going to play you for it. Imagine that.
No, Mike will play you for it.
Mike will play you for it. Mike will play you for
Talk to
whatever.
you and would talk to you.
Yeah.
And would talk to you.
And, I just find it very, I don't know where to start here, man. All right, first, let me just start with the actual words. Let's just
Yeah,
go there.
yeah.
So I think Alicia Keys was having some sort of video conference or clubhouse, whatever it is, and Jay-Z was there virtually, and basically he said, this is his quote, and this is from Tidal. We didn't want to put the audio out there because, I didn't want anything to get demonetized. We never know. But anyway, the quote is, no one can stand on that stage with me. It's not a chance in hell that anyone can stand on that stage with me. Now, I think the other part of the quote was like for 2 hours or whatever the verses is or whatnot. And I just think that, wow, I want to get your thoughts on that, sir. First off.
So, Mike, I think a lot of the opinions that I've had about him for a long time that have always made me come off as like a hater or a Nas stan are just kind of coming to fruition. I used to always talk about how, like, it was almost like he was too trendy, Mike. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, he wasn't like rooted in anything stylistically. And so now that we have time to go back and look at his prime, you can see stylistically where he's all over the place, Mike. And he's the only all-time great who stylistically is all over the place. Like we were talking behind the scenes, and I was telling you, it's like, no, Slick Rick has been Slick Rick since you heard the show in Lottie Dottie. You feel me?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Stylistically speaking.
It's even on a production level, and not to interrupt you, when you
Go
hear
ahead.
a certain track, you know that's a Slick Rick type of track. It's very
Yeah.
identifiable. I think that's one of the beautiful things about hip hop too, and hip hop production is the fact that everybody kind of carries their own style, and it kind of comes from their flow. And when you talk about all the different eras of Jay and how his style and flow has switched up in many of those eras, and many of those different people who are attached to those styles, it becomes unidentifiable in a
Mhm.
sense. Um, we could start it with, the way he was rhyming during the jazz era. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like, it's not that it's unidentifiable, it's just that it's striking in comparison to his peers, it's striking in comparison to a Rakim, a Nas, a Big, a Pac, a Slick Rick, whose mantras were frighteningly consistent. It's part of the greatness, kind of, is what I'm saying. This is like Mike. Nas started off at 19 years old as a nostalgic MC.
Hold on, hold on. You froze up for a second. I don't want any of this stuff to be cut off. We got like 43 people in the room. You want to hang it up and call me right back, and you will, continue.
Yeah,
That,
go on. Yeah, go on. See you in a minute.
Yeah. Hold that thought. But yes, I'm gonna get to some of the comments while Coop's coming back in the room. Terminator says, "What Jay got on New York State of Mind? I gave you power." Speaking of Slick Rick, influenced damn near everybody. Yes, this is facts. All right. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I think we're back
No,
on.
like
There
I
you
was.
go. You there? Damn it! It happened again, man. What is going on?
Hello?
Yeah. We're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, you sure? You sure?
Yep. We're good. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's like Nas was a nostalgic MC on Illmatic. Like Rakim on Paid in Full is a super lyrical 5%er inspired MC. You get what I'm saying? It's like from the jump. Like the only person who even made a switch content wise was KRS, and that had a lot to do with literally his right hand man being murdered.
Chuck D has an identification.
Like, so he has
Ice Cube
identification.
has an ID. Scarface, we know what
Yeah.
Scarface brings to the table. Like, it's funny, man. Before Jay even said this, I was just kind of, going down the rabbit hole on the internet. And, I'm a big Camp Lo fan. I loved, Uptown Saturday Night.
It's great
And,
album.
and I've listened to them for years, and we know that they did Feeling It first, because they were messing with ski beats back then. And, we've heard the whole story of the fact that Jay heard Feeling It. Beat, hook, everything's in there, same thing. And he's like, yo, I want that song. Got that song, made it his. And, you could tell even some of the flow on Feeling It is very Camp Lo-ish, right? But I think the part that really stands out is that Maya Bestamy, when Jay jumped on that remix. And he's like, Carolina Blue Kicks, hottest nigga on the block. Used to Willie bicycle since I was 6. That's Geechee Suede right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. And I think it's cool when artists do that. But he's done this a lot from the Jazzo. And honestly, his style from Can I Get Open to In My Lifetime, the switch from that to Reasonable Doubt, you have to think that has something to do with Sauce Money.
It's pretty big.
That leap and just that stylistic change, the way Sauce Money rhymes and has always rhymed, you have to think that has something to do with it, right? And then when you go from that era, that's when you go into the Geechee Suede, the Camp Lo, all of that. Sonny Chiba, shout out to them. I love that group. And then after that, that's when you start hearing the State Property, the Young Chris
Young
flow,
Chris
and
Flow.
all of that stuff. And so those are things that kind of make the flow in itself unidentifiable. And then we're not even talking about production
Mike,
because that's everywhere.
Mike, and we're not talking about Big either because Mike,
I'm leaving Big all the way out of it because that is a consistent narrative that we don't even have to go there to talk about. You know what I mean?
no, Mike, we do have to go there because some things need to say the same. And this is what I'm saying is like I've always said this is like, well, where is he in the game if Big lives? Because it's like they do the exact same thing. One guy has a better voice, a better delivery, is a better storyteller, has a better team. Like, you get what I'm saying?
No. It's clear he took Big's lane, ran with it, and there was no Big to fulfill that lane. I don't know if he would have jumped in that lane if Big was still here.
Right. Like I think Reasonable Doubt probably gets made again if Big is still here.
I think so too. Well, okay, let's look at volume 2. Let's start because Verzuz is about the hits, right? And so my first thing was when he said this, obviously he's thought about this, and the one thing that he mentioned that he would go out there and, well, what is somebody gonna do when he does the Grammy Family Freestyle? And I'm like, Grammy Family Freestyle of your illustrious career, 20 songs. You're telling me that's part of that? I don't know if that was a shot at Kanye or what, but I don't know. Anyway, when he said that though, I'm thinking, okay, what 20 Jay-Z songs are going to get played in a Verzuz that would make you that untouchable? You know what I'm saying? Because we know, and we've done the mock Verzuz, I think, with LL and Jay. And so with LL, we know we're going to hear Rock the Bells. You know you're going to hear Radio. You know you're going to hear Round the Way Girl. But with so much collaborative stuff and with such a long span of things, and let's be honest, some of these hit records didn't age as well as some of the non-hit records. It made me think, okay, if he were to do a Verzuz, what songs are we going to play? What songs do y'all think would have to be played? I'm talking to people in the chat now. What song do y'all think would have to be played in a Jay-Z Verzuz? And I want to ask you that same thing, Coop.
I want to hear what the people have to say a little bit first, because that's what I'm saying, Mike. When you, like, Mike, I'm gonna read off like just some of his hits.
Okay, you know, I want you to do that. I got notes too.
Yeah, Can't Knock the Hustle, Feeling It, Ain't No Nigga, Hard Knock Life, Nigga What Nigga Who, Money Cash Hoes, Do It Again.
Hold on, let me stop you there. Let's stop there. Okay, Mary's on Can't Knock the Hustle. I don't think Can't Knock the Hustle is going to get played.
So stop for a second. So hold on. So when you say that, therein lies the problem. You're saying you don't think that gets played? I'm kind of telling you, if you actually go look at his hit records, at least on nostalgic value for core audience, kind of needs to get played because some of these hits are dated. Like, he should play Can't Knock the Hustle before he plays Ain't No Nigga. Like, that he sounds super dated on Ain't No Nigga.
I agree with you. I think that Money Cash Hoes sounds dated.
Because it is, Mike. So is Big Pimpin'. Big Pimpin's actually dated, Mike.
I think it is too. And you know what? And even if we're talking about that, like, very collaborative heavy, where it's like Big Pimpin', is that not Pimp C on the hook? Or at least Jigga trying to do his version of Pimp C on there?
Mike, you want me to go through some more singles? 99 Problems, PSA, Change Clothes, Izzo, Girls, Girls, Girls. Do those sound like Verzuz winners to you necessarily outside of PSA?
Not really.
99 Problems?
Not really.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
And 99 Problems isn't a given. Because if we're talking about somebody, if we're talking about somebody of the caliber of him, they're coming with something heavy.
So, Mike, here's what I've always kind of been saying. Well, his hits really ain't like what you think they are. I forgot to bring up Give It To Me. I Just Want to Love You. Like that's a win for him, probably.
That's a big record, but again, man, I mean, that's kind of a spinoff of Shake It Fast. It's the Neptunes. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm nitpicking.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just speaking in terms of the quality of the actual record. Like, that's probably a win for him. But what I'm saying is that, Mike, if you put him up against somebody of his stature, it's like he's losing a lot of these records, Mike. It's like
These records didn't age as well as some of his
so
iconic
Mike.
contemporaries records did.
So I know a lot of people are expecting me to go to Nas, but actually when I saw this list, I was thinking like, yo, Rakim can fade you.
Oh, you going Rakim?
I'm going Rakim can fade you. Like because it's like no, because God MC, me, Jehovah, right?
Well, see that, yeah, and see this is the thing, and I picked LL too. You know what I'm saying? And we made a short list, and we're gonna go through this short list. And let me add Rakim to this list so we can actually entertain that conversation too, right? We made a short list of people that we think not only would stand on that stage against him, but could possibly beat him. Rakim only needs 11 victories, right? And we're talking 20 records.
So
let me make 11.
Yeah, but let me make a point before I go further.
Go ahead.
Because his singles over a course of time aren't as strong as we originally thought when they came out at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Where his best stuff is at, Mike, is actually on his B-sides.
I think Mike, he knows that, though. Because that's why he made the Grammy family reference. And that's not even a B-side, as a freestyle.
But when he's saying that, it's like, well, dude, Nas and Rakim got you on the B-sides easy, and everybody knows that, too. What you got for Lyrics of Fury? Because Grammy family ain't cutting it against Lyrics of Fury,
Well,
Mike.
see, my thing is, if he tries to...
going that route, you're not winning against...
If he tries to go B-side,
you're getting Lyrics of Fury. You feel what I'm saying? You're getting verbal intercourse. Like, don't do that. You don't want to do that.
Well, you know what? We should do a mock versus to that. But again, I think that
Follow the Leader, Mike. What does he have lyrically for Follow the Leader when he go? You know what I'm saying? When Rakim start going into the bag, because Mike, Rakim shit is classic, super lyrical, and it was a hit when it came out, and it's aged well, Mike.
Raider 7528 says, according to hip hop, a versus with Jay-Z is going to be about collabos, and I think that's right. You know, and that's the thing where it's like, it's bring up
the Grammy shit, Mike.
I want to bring up the Grammy stuff because I think Jay has the most Grammys of any artist in hip hop, right? Jay has 23 Grammys. But we went through the individual Grammy wins, and oddly enough, only 4 of those are Grammys of songs that were, well, efforts by himself. 4 of those, meaning 99 Problems, DOA, on to the next one. Those are 3 Grammy wins he's had for songs. And he got a Grammy for Volume 2 for Rap Album of the Year. So out of 23 Grammys, 4 of those are solo joints. I think that kind of is telling the tale of what his hits look like when it comes to him as a soloist. Now, in comparison to Kanye West, and I'm going to get to Kanye, he has 22 Grammys. And 11 of those are solos. So that's what it's supposed to kind of look like.
See, that's what I'm saying. When you start putting him up against people of his stature.
Mm-hmm. No, Andrew, he has 23 now. They gave him a Grammy, or they gave Jay a Grammy for Savage. I guess he did some writing on there or something. But yeah, they're not tied anymore. He has 23 and Kanye has 22. But again, 4 of those are from Jay-Z's solo works. The rest of it's collaborative stuff. And again, if we sit there and look at the hit records, many of Jay-Z's stuff is collaborative efforts. And it's interesting that Raider said that because it's pretty accurate. Like, outside of PSA, and you don't know, what are the big notable records that won't have a collaboration on stage for Jay? 99 Problems?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because on to the next one's not going to get played in the verses. I mean, unless he's just trying to shout out Swiss, and if he does that, he's going to lose that round.
Well, here's the thing about it. This is what I mean. So, Mike, we keep talking about, so PSA and You Don't Know, those are easy victories for him against pretty much anybody. He's going to win those records.
Yeah.
Those might be the 2 strongest
Well,
records.
all the greats got that.
All the greats have records like that. But, Mike, what I'm saying is when you get to, like, his real strong stuff, which is really like stuff like Politics as Usual, Imaginary Player, Can I Live? You know what I'm saying?
Those aren't hits, though.
Those aren't hits. Yeah. But not only are they not hits, but there are people of your stature that have made B-side records better than that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, so Mike, let's take something like Can I Live? Mike, what Can I Live got on something like, I mean, you can pick a Rakim album. Like what does that have on something like Casualties of War?
I think Can I Live's better, but if we talking like ghetto or something, and see, that's what makes it hard, though. I feel what you're saying, but
Right.
for people who weren't around for the Rakim era, and I miss the Rakim era, I'm slightly too young for it. I think certain things could be easily dismissed. That's why I kind of like pairing him with people who were around in the same era. Because I told you when Snoop did the Verzuz with DMX. That track list that Snoop used, Jay wouldn't have beat him that night.
Nobody would have beat him that night.
Jay would not have beaten him that night. So don't sit here and say that nobody could stand on the stage with you. Snoop Dogg could stand on the stage with you.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like Mike, imagine him playing Izzo and Change Clothes next to some of that Snoop stuff.
Man, bro.
I mean, you go to Snoop.
Bro,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
you play Izzo next to like what's my name or who am I? You're going down.
Yeah.
You even if you play the Evils or something that's powerful like that, or Lucifer against Murder Was the Case, you are going down.
Mike, he's going down against somebody like Nas with I Gave You Power or Rewind on the same type of records. That's what I'm saying. He's losing on both sides. Like he's going to lose to somebody like Snoop or LL on the hit making side, or he's going to lose to somebody like Nas or Rakim on the B side. This is his stratosphere. When you bring up Ye, Mike, I mean, Ye's a whole problem for him because if he were to do something with Ye, well, you can't use none of the stuff you did with Ye.
This is the thing. And you know what?
You got a whole problem.
First of all, let me just say this.
A whole problem. Mike, think about that for a second, though. If he did a versus Ye, you can't use Ye stuff.
He's not going to... Listen, Kanye West would beat Jay-Z in the verses, straight up. And I ain't talking about Kanye West, the producer. He ain't even got to dig into his production bag.
Mike, I think Big could still fade Jay in a versus, Mike.
Possibly. But Mike, I don't want to see again. Big's not here to do that. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, though. I'm talking about, like, Mike, he could play The World Is Filled and beat some of these singles. He could play The World Is Filled and beat some of these singles. Like, Mike, The World Is Filled or Change Clothes, Mike.
I like Change Clothes a lot. I mean, again, it's not fair because like we said, he piggybacked on a lot of Big's career, and you're able to go out there and analyze things and move forward. Him and Kanye were happening at the same time.
Mike, I got a good one for you. My downfall are the Evils. See what I'm saying? That's not even Biggie's. That's not Biggie's hit record stuff that we already know he's about to win. That's that B-side shit. It's a problem.
No, I feel you, but I do want to.
You're nobody till somebody kills you versus Streets is watching, Mike.
I mean, I feel you, but I think that in the long run, Jay has a lot of records. I'm not even gonna front.
Mike. He's got a lot of great records, but what I'm saying is like all that switching up, like it doesn't hold well. Like Mike, when Snoop was having his verses, didn't you kind of know about 7 or 8 of those records you were gonna hear beforehand?
That's the thing. Because
you know the status of the record. Mike, to be honest with Snoop, it was more like 10. It's like, well, he's playing these 10 records. We know that's happening.
Charboro says, y'all tripping. Ye not beating Jay on his worst day. Well, let's analyze that a little bit. What do you think that Jay is going to play against Kanye West? What really does Jay have when Kanye plays Jesus Walks? What you got for that?
Mike, that's what I'm saying. Like, he don't have nothing. You don't have... Mike, that's when he has to play PSA or You Don't Know. You feel what I'm saying?
I mean, when Kanye jumps into like a
gold digger, Mike,
a gold digger,
or Through the Wire,
a slow jams Through the Wire.
That's what I'm saying, Mike. He could
even take it up to like I Don't Like. He could do current stuff, huh?
Power.
Yeah.
All of the lights, Mike. Stadium flow.
Even if he went, even though I don't like Stronger, it's just not a good matchup for Jay because he has done and can do everything that Jay has done sonically because he's really been responsible for a lot of things that Jay has done sonically, and he can do more.
Yeah, he's been sonically responsible for Jay more than anybody else since the Blueprint. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, for 20 years. And I think that it's even proven over the past 20 years that when Kanye's not involved, there's clearly something missing, right? The Blueprint, he's the architect of the Blueprint. I mean, just based on what him and Bink said, or about Just Blaze or whatnot, I think everything that we all love about the Blueprint and just looking at the time dates on records like Never Change, records like Heart of the City, and when they were made, the Blueprint, the architect of the Blueprint sonically is Kanye West. Is that fair to say?
I mean, that's one of those kind of like unsaid things at this point. You can kind of tell.
It is what it is. I mean, we can look at who went further with that and who was able to continue that on, who made Daytona, who made B. It's pretty clear, right? All right, so Blueprint 2, his involvement was lessened. We saw what that was about. The Black Album, Jay went and got like a collaboration of some of the best producers ever to be on one album, but who still had some standout records on there with Lucifer and Encore.
No. He did, but Jay did an excellent job of putting the Black Album.
He did.
Excellent job.
Kingdom Come, No Yay, what's that? That's a dud. All right. American Gangster, no Kanye on there, but no hits on there, really. If we be honest, I like American Gangster. I was listening to it the other day.
I enjoy American Gangster.
I do too. I like the Rock Boys and everything, but I don't think if he did a Verzuz, he wouldn't play any of those records. Right?
Yeah, maybe Rock Boys, maybe.
Yeah, he wouldn't play that.
Really.
And so the Blueprint 3, Kanye's back involved, Jay making hits again. And then you got Holy Grail.
When you say it like that, that's bad, Mike. When you say it like that, that's bad.
It's the truth. When Kanye's involved, sonically, he's to form of what we know him as, right? All right. So after that, we got Holy Grail. No Kanye, dud. That's just what it is, right? 444, no Kanye, no hits. Everything is Love, the album that he did with his wife, Beyonce, the Carter's album. No Kanye, no real hits. Unless you want to call Ape Shit a hit.
It had some buzz. I wouldn't call it a hit, though.
So, so sonically, I skipped over one. Watch the Throne. Last time they had some hits. Last time he had some hits, and Kanye was the driving force on Watch the Throne. Anybody out there believe that Jay-Z was the driving force behind Watch the Throne or Kanye? Like, whose album does that seem more like to you?
This is all hilarious.
So really, at this point, if Kanye's going against Jay-Z in the Verzuz or Jay-Z's going against Kanye in the Verzuz, it's basically Kanye's career versus Jay-Z in the 90s, sounds like, right?
96 to 2000, pretty much.
Yeah. Because he's not going to play Heart of the City with Kanye there. Like you said, it puts Jay-Z in a situation where he can't play any Kanye records. Because Kanye gonna be like,
Kanye gonna be like, hey, remember when I helped you do that?
He ain't even got to say that.
You know, like you can't even trust Ye because ain't no telling what secrets are behind the song or what Ye fed him or what. Like, dude.
I mean, listen, we all seen Fade to Black. We seen Kanye rapping that damn near the whole song of Lucifer. I gotta get my soul right. We've seen all that, so can't do that.
No, Lucifer's a great record. I think that's one of Jay's best records to me. I love Lucifer.
Yeah, shout out to Kanye for that. Lucifer. On the beat and on the delivery and on the flow and on the hook.
It's a lot of help.
Let's call it what it is. So no, I don't believe that Jay would beat Kanye in the Verzuz. How could he? Because Kanye's been able to make hits for himself. He's been able to make hits for others and be on other people's tracks. What he gonna do when he go out there and play like something obscure, like what would Meek do? Or he do New God Flow or something. You know what I'm saying? No, man.
There would have to be parameters of that. It's like Kanye, you can only...
He said nobody could get on that stage with him. That's what he said.
He said nobody?
Nobody.
I mean, Mike, it's... You want to know what? Like, Mike, this is kind of like a field where it's very competitive and very testosterone driven, very similar to boxing. And so I would want everybody to come out and kind of feel the way that he feels. The weight of it seems heavy because it's him saying it, but that just doesn't change the fact that it's just not true. And I mean, really, Mike, he spent his whole career trying to separate himself from the pack of the people he was considered to be in the echelon in. And I think there was a point in time where he had done a fairly great job of that, Mike, because I'll tell you this, as far as peaks are concerned, I tell you, if like, and I don't mean in terms of quality output, I mean in terms of what the people are saying. When he was on top, Mike, I think the last time people probably had picked one guy like that was Rakim.
No, when he was on top, he was backing it up. And again, I think somebody, Jason Carmen says, Jay-Z got to back that statement up. I agree. That's what I said at the beginning of the broadcast. Hold on. Big Ten says industry has carried Jay-Z. I think that's legit. I think that is legit.
Well, that kind of goes to what I'm saying. See, what has happened is that he has gotten out of the machine and gotten older. He's gotten drawn back in the pack. And now that you're back in the pack, let's just kind of put you back on the scale and start weighing you again. You get what I'm saying? Because we've always kind of weighed him on the scale of like how we viewed him when he was at that peak and how he left it. Nobody else has really gotten that kind of credence or that kind of treatment. You get what I'm saying?
The other part of that is over the past 10 years, there hasn't been anybody around to grab from. Like, there's no Jazzo around. There's no Sauce Money around. There's no Camp Lo around. There's no State Property, Young Chris. There's no Kanye to grab from. There's no J. Cole to grab from. And we're seeing that all these, like you said, you're looking back at the catalog now, it's like, okay, this was very collaborative heavy. I think that's why we really loved American Gangster. And I love American Gangster. I think it was a breath of fresh air, especially after he did Kingdom Come. But the hits aren't there. I think Kingdom Come 2 was another one where we saw for the first time Jay is doing these hooks and the songs were coming out flat. Show Me What You Got, he's doing the hooks now. And he wasn't doing the hooks like that before. And if he did do it, he was doing it in conjunction with like, you know, a UGK flow, got UGK on it, or doing like a Money Cash Hoes with DMX barking in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Mike, other artists have been able to do that though. I mean, I just want to finish the thought though. Like T.I. got What You Know, right? People go to Wayne for hooks. You know what I mean? Like Wayne got Red Nation. Kanye, countless of records where he's able to hold it down. Duffel Bag Boy. Kanye can do Can't Tell Me Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he hasn't proven that all around he's anything outside of a dope lyricist that's dope enough to be able to adjust to a lot of things. But when it comes to making a full song, it seems like he's had a lot of help with that. And I think that's why Future said what he said.
So, Mike, can I tell you why I think that help comes into play? And it goes to some things that we always talk about. Well, Mike, the reason that it's collaborative heavy, in my opinion, is because of something that, once again, I've been saying about him for a long time. Well, of all the guys in this stratosphere, Mike, he has the worst voice.
He knows that. He said that before. And I can agree with that.
He doesn't have a Biggie, Rakim, Nas, Method Man, Ice Cube, Chuck D, KRS. No, his voice isn't like that.
LL Cool J.
LL Cool J. Mike, you know what helps you forget that? When you're not carrying the weight of the song so much all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, but again, like you said, Show Me What You Got showed us, like with him on the hook for Show Me What You Got, that showed us like, oh, his voice can't really carry a hook like that. Money Ain't a Thing. That's Jermaine Dupri.
Mike, listen to the songs. Like, listen to the songs before he had major help, the singles. That's why I started at the top. Mike, Can't Knock the Hustle. Who's singing the hook?
Mary.
Ain't No Nigga.
Foxy.
Mike.
Jazz.
Yeah. Mike, Hard Knock Life.
Annie.
Mike, Nigga What, Nigga Who?
Emil.
Mike, who's on the background in Money Cash Hoes?
X. I was going to say another one.
Mike,
Can I Get Her? Is Ja Rule.
Can I Get Her? Do It Again. Mike, all these hits got people on the hook.
Even that Do It Again, remember that was stolen from that one group, remember? Emil's on there too. But yeah.
But Mike, Emil's still on the hook. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying even the words from Do It Again, that was stolen, remember? He got that lawsuit from that.
Mike, Big Pimpin'. That's Bun B on the hook, Mike.
Yeah, and the flow is Pimp C.
It's been like this. It's been like this.
Excuse me, miss. Young Chris did that before they stole it from Luther. You know what I mean?
Mike.
Oh, Me and My Girlfriend. That's Tupac. Bonnie and Clyde 03, I mean. 03
That's
Bonnie
what I'm
and
saying.
Clyde.
So, Mike, you want to know why that is, though? Because his rap voice isn't as strong.
Give it to me. That's Pharrell, Oskino, Rick James. We can keep going. But I'm just saying,
Mike, Change Clothes. Izzo. Mike.
And that's not even counting what Diesel over here is talking about. Diesel said A Star Is Born was originally J. Cole's song. Yeah, there's a lot of songs that we could say were originally somebody else's, like Poppin' Tags. That was originally Twista and Ludacris. You can look that up. Feeling It. That was originally Camp Lowe's. Do It Again. That was originally Beanie's. I'm just saying.
So was Heart of the City, Mike.
Heart of the City was originally Beanie.
That's the one, Mike.
It is the one. And, you know.
Mike, I was just telling you, Mike, you can't tell me that's not Beans. First the Fat Boys break up. Now every day I wake up, somebody got something to say. That's Beans, Mike.
What about Girls, Girls, Girls? That's Crash Crew.
Mike,
like 83.
Mike, girls. But Mike, let's go back to the hook again with the voices. Mike, he picked 3 of the greatest rap voices of all time to do the hook. Biz Markie, Q-Tip, Slick Rick.
Yeah. And did a Crash Crew hook that was, well, it wasn't a hook, but it was just part of a song that was the most memorable chant part of the song.
Right. So this stuff has been going on, but he was in his prime. And so anybody that was calling these things out wasn't paying attention or was being called a hater. I was being called a hater. But here's what we have now. Mike, of all the all-time great MCs, nobody else is as collaborative heavy, Mike.
No.
Nobody else is material. Sounds has dated, Mike, in that echelon. It doesn't. These are just true statements, Mike.
Well, you know who else is like that? You know who else is like that? And he's not the lyricist that Jay is, but Drake is like that too. And I think that time is going to do similar things to his catalog.
Mike, I said all-time great. When I'm talking all-time great, I'm talking Rakim, KRS-One, Tupac, The Notorious B.I.G., Nas.
Well, Ed Lover said... No, just kidding.
I don't give a...
Ed Lover said Drake's gonna be one of the greatest. Shout out to Ed Lover, man. You know,
cool,
I respect everybody's opinion, but we got our own opinions around here.
Mike,
we big boys and girls.
Mike, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. I remember when AZ came out with Sugar Hill and Ed Lover and Dr. Dre said this guy's gonna be one of the greatest to ever bless the mic. They were right that day. You know? Yeah. We all have days. I've been wrong, Mike. I gave Port of Miami like 4 stars. Port of Miami 2, I gave it 4 stars. Like, we be wrong sometimes. I get it.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Yeah. No. It happens.
Rodriguez got a question for us. Rakim hooks?
Okay, so Mike, where I always kind of put Nas and Big, his MCs ahead of Rakim, is kind of right there. Because the hook writing's not there. And when you hear him doing hooks in 97... it's not as great, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like that Guess Who's Back? Look, I control the crowd. You know why I hold it. Like but he didn't come from an era, Mike, where hook writing was the thing. It was about the DJ scratching or it's about looping your voice. So those were tools that weren't necessarily needed in the bag yet to be the greatest MC. I think Tupac and maybe Chuck D before it is probably one that changed that with the hooks. Like Chuck D's hooks changed things, I feel like.
I agree. I mean, because even if we look at LL, like Rock the Bells and Bad, it's like you say the title of the song and then boom, and then you come
like,
back
I
in.
need love. It's just I need love. You know what I mean? Repeat. That's where they come from. They come from that chant and repeat era because the live show and element is still in effect and in their minds when they're in the booth recording at the time. And I think Chuck D had something to do with the evolution of that process because Chuck D was different, Mike. Like the stuff he was talking about was different. And I think he almost felt like he needed the hook to keep your attention, to keep you on message. You know what I'm saying? So it became a necessity with Chuck to keep your attention. With the other guys, they had the beats and the rhymes where you didn't really need to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Diesel. We missed one. 99 Problems is Ice-T. Yes, you're right. I forgot about
99 Problems is Ice-T. Mike, this is a lot of...
Since we talk about the hits, we're talking about the hits.
No, but Mike, no other echelon in C has this much swagger jacking going on. Like as a matter of fact, no upper echelon in C has any of this swagger jacking going on, Mike. Like Scarface's style is Scarface's style. Ice Cube style is Ice Cube style. Rakim. Like people can say Nas bit Rakim style. Nas may be an evolution of Rakim style more than a copy of it. KRS, Chuck D, Pac. Like these are all like such original.
Jay doesn't have a better hook than Made You Look that he's ever rapped.
No, he doesn't. Oh my God, Mike, no. You a slave to a page in my rhyme book? No, he doesn't have a hook.
I mean, let's look at hooks like They Shook, because ain't no such thing as halfway crooks. Scared to death, scared to look. I mean, he's from that era. And so even in the 90s, he don't have hooks like that. He don't have hooks like a Cream or something like that. I mean, and again, not saying that's the end all be all per se, but you want to sit here and say nobody can stand next to you on a stage when we're talking about hit records. Well, all of your hit records, first of all, that's false. Most of your hit records on top of that are borrowed from the rest of the game. Don't disrespect the game when you done borrow from the rest of the game.
I mean, Mike, Biggie kind of did some of that too. But that's what I'm saying. Like, he did it better. The records are more classic. And most of those records, Mike, it's big. It's B.I.G., Mike. Like, I think the only all-time great single I think he has where it's a collaborative effort, Mike, is More Money, More Problems. Am I wrong? Like, everything else is really big on the single, isn't it?
I don't even really count that as a big song like that. I mean, it is, but I never really think of that. When we think of Big's catalog, More Money, More Problems doesn't even cross my mind.
Like, when I listen to the track and I listen to Mace's Harlem World, like, it sounds like maybe intended for Mace. But that's what I'm talking about. Big is all-time great. Totally made that record his own when he steps on the mic.
I mean, like I said, we've heard Warning and shit like that. Like,
you know what I'm saying? We already heard Warning. We've already heard Juicy. We've heard both versions of One More Chance. You know what I mean? Like, we've heard Hypnotize at this point. Mike, you want to know what? And this is what I mean. You know what he doesn't have? And this is what I mean about the voice. Mike, kick in the door, Mike. Where's that type of record at where he's spitting crazy on the verses, but then going crazy on the hook too? And it got you going crazy because he's just in that zone. Kick in the door, wave in the 4-4. Come on.
Terminator 2 says, Mike D, I got Rick Ross's catalog over Jay's. Maybe Nas. I mean, listen, man. I think that
catalog serious.
This is what I will say about Rick Ross's catalog. Yes, it's very serious. And the fact that he went out there and did a Verzuz, held back a whole lot with 2 Chainz, and said he got 20 more for anybody else, and no one else responded. That says a lot, man. And the fact that he has his own stuff and he's collaborative. Rick Ross has been able to do it all as an artist. And we're not even sitting here saying anybody's more lyrical than this person, that person. We talking about Verzuz, we're just talking about music, right? And so I think that it's a testament to an artist. And I'm kind of troubled about the fact that Jay said what he said, but didn't leave an open challenge out. Like, he said he's not doing it, basically. You know what I'm saying? And so that, to me, means, like, it's not as foolproof as you're saying it is. Because I expect any artist of his caliber to say that no one can see him. You're supposed to say that. He approaches the mic like that in every instant.
No, but you're supposed to feel that way when you step to the mic. But to Rick Ross, like, Mike, when we do these verses, like when the verses come out, Mike, I'd say on average, I usually pick about 13 to 17 of the songs correctly that the artist is going to play before the verses happen. Mike, when Rick Ross did his verses, I picked like 4 of the songs correctly. He's a whole problem, Mike. I picked like 4 of the songs right. Like he was pulling stuff out, and I was like, "Oh, you pulling that out?" I was like, "You want to know what he about to win with that?" I was like, "Oh shit!" Like he's a whole problem. Like what was it, Mike? I forget. I feel like it was Santorini, Greece. Did he play Santorini?
I knew you were gonna go there. Yeah.
Like when he played Santorini, Greece, I was like, hold on. I was like, we're at this point in the game, and he just broke that. I was like, he's not breaking out some of this stuff. I was like, he's a problem. He's not breaking some of this stuff out. He's a problem. He waited this long to play. Oh, it's like, oh, he's a problem.
Okay, well, the people that I have that I think would beat Jay in the verses.
You think these people would beat him?
I think Kanye West could beat Jay-Z in the verses.
Yeah. I
think Snoop Dogg, with the playlist that he put out there against DMX, I don't think Jay could have beaten that. It's just my opinion. If somebody feels different on that, I get you.
He might have the best verses playlist though, Mike. Snoop might have the best like playlist set up for this verses because his shit hits hard and their hits and it's classic and you can sing along. It's like actually where he's not super lyrical and that plays well to the crowd and gives him more stadium flow.
Because we're talking about songs. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about who's the best. We're not battling up there.
Mike, I got bitches in the living room getting it on, and when he put the mic out, they ain't till 6 in the right.
I think LL Cool J would beat him because we went through the mock verses, and I mean those LL Cool J records that are top notch are very difficult to beat. I don't think Jay has anything for Rock the Bells. I don't think he has any. Honestly, man, I think that the lounging remix is better than Hard Knock Life. And people go on and on about Hard Knock Life like it's the pinnacle Jay-Z record. I think Loungin', which ain't even a top 5 LL record, is better than Hard Knock Life.
Okay, so Mike, Loungin' for me is a better like single and hit record and more classic single and hit wise than almost all of Jay-Z's released singles except for maybe 3 or 4. On LL side, that song would probably fall somewhere between 8 to 12, Mike.
No, for real.
For real. That's not no slight. That's just like what it is. Because Mike, I told you, it's like when I was going through LL stuff, I was like, no, LL's like 10 records. They're like 10, Mike. They're like 10s on everything. It's like, no, it's classic. The beat's great. He's great. Voice, delivery. You know the words. You remember where you were when you first heard it. It stayed with you. It still sounds timeless. Like his 10 records are 10s.
People say I'm bugging. Traboro says LL not beating Jay with anything from his catalog past 95. He really doesn't have to go past 95.
Mike, he can use everything from 85 to 95 and beat.
And I'll tell you this, nothing past 03 from Jay is going to beat anything from LL's catalog.
Here's what I mean about how LL's 10s are 10s across the board. Mike, Doing It came out in 95. Big Pimpin' came out in 99. Which one of those records sounds dated to you? Which one of those records sound classic to you?
No, that's real.
That's real.
Yeah, Doing It's a classic.
And Doing It is considered to be LL at the end of his prime. Big Pimpin' is Jay at the peak of his powers.
Somebody just said, the chat's going crazy, but somebody just said the Best of Me remix, Jay's versus the Loungin' remix. Again, I can't get out of my head that is a Camp Low verse. You know what I mean?
But Mike, it's still not better than Loungin'. Like, even if you were like, put it
y'all think I'm tripping? I mean, I'm seeing people in here all over the place. I don't know.
Mike, I'm gonna trip with you today, then, because they tripping. It's like, no, Mike. Because here's the thing: we talking about Loungin'. So people, what's the record people just brought up for Jay?
They said The Best of Me with Maya, and I think the other one. I think the one they say I'm bugging about. It's Hard Knock Life.
The Best of Me. Okay, Mike. I Need Love versus Best of Me Part 2. Okay, there we go. Mike, let's see.
No.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't do that. That's what I'm saying. We talking about LL's back into his 10. We talking about Jay's high level stuff. That's why.
And we're not even talking about Jingling Baby and stuff like that.
You got none for Jingling Baby, Mike. You don't got none for Jingling Baby or Rock the Bells.
Yeah, I think that just the time period and how groundbreaking these records are.
It's hard to beat.
It's hard to beat, and I'm not saying that again. Jay doesn't have the skill set to. This ain't even about Jay's skill set. I think the fact that the way his records were made and how timely they were affected the timelessness. It doesn't get much more timeless than LL. The only person that gets more timeless than that is like a Slick Rick or something. Like you said, you can't.
No. How about this? Snoop shit is just as timeless as LL. Slick Rick's right there, Mike.
Yeah.
How about this, Mike? Let's just switch it right quick. Let me show you how classic LL shit is. Mike, Rock the Bells or The World Is Yours by Nas.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to even do. Obviously, Rock the Bells is gonna win that round. Not when we're not even talking about what's the better song.
That's what I'm saying. You ain't beating some of this
shit.
shit.
My favorite Jay-Z record is Dead Presidents 2. You can't put that up against a LL record. It just doesn't mean as much, unfortunately.
Oh, it don't, Mike.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
In y'all opinion, and I want to ask the people in the chat, because we got 203 people in the room right now. What do y'all think?
That means people at the crib chilling. Happy holidays.
What do y'all think is Jay-Z's most groundbreaking song? Are we talking about groundbreaking song? Like we're talking about like a Rock the Bells. Like we're talking about a Paid in Full. We're talking, you know what I mean?
Mike, this is what I'm about to say. Mama Said Knock You Out is going to beat almost all of Jay's singles.
I want to know, what say you, Coop? What is Jay-Z's most groundbreaking song?
Mike, Hard Knock Life is the song that changed everything. He went from a gold, borderline platinum-ish artist to a dude who sold 5 million records. So
it changed things for him, but did it change the game?
Mike, he doesn't have a game-changing single. He came out in 1996 with Big and Nas had released Ready to Die and Illmatic a couple years before. You can't break no ground in that. What ground is there to break?
I'm seeing Hard Knock Life. I see 22 Twos.
Mike, play Hard Knock Life against Rock the Bells, Mike. Jingling Baby. Like, no.
Okay, I think everybody is kind of like on the Hard Knock Life thing when it comes to Jay-Z's most groundbreaking record.
Yeah,
David Lewis says he doesn't have one groundbreaking record. Hold on. Yeah, no groundbreaking. Unknown Name says you don't know. We got Meet the Parents. We got PSA. I think these are personal favorites. 99 Problems, Hard Knock Life, Ain't No Nigga. Groundbreaking joints is Hard Knock Life. Okay, so if Hard Knock Life is the groundbreaking joint for Jay, where does that rank when it comes to the groundbreaking songs for hip hop, period?
Not high, Mike. It's not even top 25. It might not be top 50. It's not, Mike. It's not more groundbreaking than Eric B. as president or Cream.
Well, let's go with his peers. Let's go with people in his class, I guess.
Mike, I just said nothing but a G thing and Cream. That's Wu-Tang and Snoop. When this nigga come out?
Yeah, that's hard. I don't know, man. That's why I'm saying
Mike,
LL
Juicy by the Notorious B.I.G. Which epic Tupac record am I going to name? Like, is it Dear Mama? Is it
I would say Dear Mama.
Is it Keep Your Head Up? Is it I Get Around? Mike, there are so many epic Tupac records to choose from that are groundbreaking. Which groundbreaking Tupac record are we going to choose?
You know, I'll say this. And since
Mike,
you said that.
Something today. Mike, I want to say something. I found out something today. My daughter is a Tupac fan. She was like, you never play any Tupac when I'm in the car. I was like, well, we can change that shit right now.
Right. No, Tupac spans generations that weren't even around for his material.
Like what he got that's gonna even make you feel or think on a level of a single, like I ain't mad at you. You feel what I'm saying? That's one of those things that's on the back end of Pop's classic stuff. He don't even have something for the people in his stratosphere, Mike. His best stuff is comparable to their back end.
You know, this I want to say this. And you know, as a Jay-Z fan and somebody who came to this show as Jay-Z being the GOAT, this, that, and the third, and just respecting Jay-Z's skill, consistency, longevity, doing these shows and actually listening to the people and highlighting other artists and their work and their contributions really helps to put a lot of things in context, you know. And I really hate to be saying these things about Jay as a Jay-Z fan, but I have to be honest.
They're honest assessments, Mike.
And the fact that he gets on stage and, you know, and says that no one can stand on that stage with him, that's inaccurate, first of all. And that causes us to open up the book and start looking further into this thing. Because I would be a hypocrite if I did that stuff to Eminem and didn't do that stuff here, where it's blaring.
So, Mike, and I'm going to tell you something. When he's his best as an MC, you'll find that the best song on those albums are songs where he's by himself. That's on Reasonable
But those
Doubt.
are not hits, and that's the only thing.
Right, Mike,
Yeah.
Mike. That's what I was about to say. That's on Reasonable Doubt. That's on Volume 1. That's on The Blueprint. That's on the Black Album. He's the best.
That's on American Gangster, too.
And on
Because he
American
didn't have a lot of collaborations on there.
Now, Mike, if you actually go to those albums, you'll find that none of those albums really contain his biggest hits.
No. He will tell you himself that Reasonable Doubt's his best album. And I agree with him.
Mike, there's not, like, I know a lot of people think The Blueprint is better. You don't know what you're talking about. Like,
I think The Blueprint is easier to digest. I think that
it is.
The Blueprint is sonically better. I think, you know, on a production level. But
Mike,
yeah, as an MC, it's not even close.
Mike, his groundbreaking moment is really the fact that Reasonable Doubt became what it did because, like I said, Mike, nobody had talked about the hustling game like that in that detail. Mike, when I heard it when I was a teenager, I was like, this nigga going to jail. I'm going to repeat that. I was like, this nigga going to jail. I was like, he talking real reckless on the mic about, like, all this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you had never heard somebody examine it with the detail like that. Like, from the jump, Mike, all the songs, Mike, or examinations of the hustling game. Like, nobody did an examination of the hustling game. And he put it together in a format where it was just enough radio play or friendly enough records, not hits, but friendly enough. Ain't no nigga, feeling it, can't knock the hustle. It made you dig in. And so then you hear him talking on Brooklyn's Finest where he's trying to separate the platinum from, hold on, what do you say? Trying to separate the pros from the cons, platinum from the bronze, that butter soft shit from the leather on the Fonz. I was like, oh shit, the shit the Fonz was wearing wasn't dope. Okay, got it. Check. When he's like, I'm the first nigga that was wearing platinum and shit. When y'all niggas thought it was silver and shit, you know
Jay
what I'm
is nice, man. Listen, we got like 220 people in the room right now. Make sure y'all subscribe
like,
to According to Hip Hop on YouTube right now. Hold on.
Like, what's the difference between a 4.0 and a 4.6? I was like Jay, like ain't nobody in my hood got either one of those. Like I couldn't tell you, fam. Like,
yo, so everybody in the room right now, subscribe to the According to Hip Hop channel on YouTube and click the like button and you know, click the bell icon so you know when we going live. But this is what I do want to say, and I want to piggyback off of what you were just saying.
Use the mailbox lock because I ain't have no key. You know what I'm saying? When he be talking like that, Mike,
no, I mean, listen.
Before, Mike,
when you ask me offline, when you ask me like what's Jay-Z's style, I think when Jay-Z's in conversational mode, he is at his best. Period.
Yeah, friend
like when you talk, you don't know it's Jay-Z in conversational mode. Yep. Imaginary Player is Jay-Z in conversational mode.
Friend or foe, Mike. Friend or foe. Where the conversational flow really starts, because I'm like, that's what I mean. Nobody ever.
Can I live?
Can I live, Mike? He on the record talking about the game on Friend or Foe. He's literally talking about it, like situationally. You draw, better be Picasso. You know the best, because if this is not so, God bless.
But the thing is, and I've always felt like this, his best records to me, they aren't the hit records. And
no,
so,
that's why I brought up Friend or Foe, Mike. Yeah. Those are the moments. The moments that made him aren't caught on singles. They're caught on Friend or Foe. They're caught on the Evils.
Let me ask you this, and I don't even know the answer to this off the top of my head, and I want to ask the people in the room, where do y'all think, what Jay-Z single is his best mic performance, lyrically? What Jay-Z single? Well, I ain't counting those. I'm talking about banger type single.
Yeah. That President's 2 counts, Mike.
Okay, let me do this. Volume 2 on, because that's when you said that he took off, right? That's when his singles changed. After Hard Knock Life on. So Volume 2 on, lyrically, what is his best single?
Lyrically, if we're talking performance-wise, Mike, it's probably the verse on Do It Again. If we're just talking about... I
love that verse.
The verse on Do It Again is special. But, Mike, I only feel like that's just because he heard Beans on the record and it's like, well, damn.
I love that verse. That verse is vicious.
Mike, those are 2 10s. That's what I'm saying. It's like, well, Beans just laid a perfect verse down, so your turn.
I liked his mic performance on Rock Boys, on the Rock Boys. I think he did his thing on there.
That's not up to par with.
But it's not, yeah, it's not. How the fuck you gonna talk about them C's on my hill when we just
Yeah.
cop them things, homie, the chromey wheels. Both arms chunky, the sleeves all chill. Any given time, 100 G's in your grill. Don't talk to me about them C's got skills.
He's all right, but he's not real.
Jay-Z's that deal. I bees in the field. Never fell for one hug, squeeze that still. You got a flow, that's cool with me. Oh, somebody mentioned Kingdom Come. If that counts as a single.
Was that a single?
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was a single.
If that counts as a single, I'm running with that, but that wasn't a single.
I mean, if that counts, then that's what we're running.
Yeah. He went nuts on there. Does What More Can I Say count?
Do It Again is still better, Mike.
Yeah, these songs don't have videos, the ones that y'all talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about to say Encore, that verse on Encore where he's like, yeah, hear me rap is like hearing Cool G rapping his prime. Young H.O. raps Grateful Dead, back to take over the globe, and break bread. That was pretty impressive.
You know whatever the single he snapped on, he went crazy on Change Clothes. It's not that kind of record, but he was spitting on Change Clothes.
You want to know what? His spit game on there is nice, but really it's one of those moments where his greatness is wrapped in the fact that it's like this dude is great lyrically and delivery-wise, knows how to do it on a level that few people have. That's what Change Clothes is. So I don't think it's a all-time great lyrical performance, but one of those performances that show where his great lyricism and delivery meet in a wonderful way. But I can't stand that beat, that happy-ass beat.
I like Change Clothes, actually. But,
man, you love the Neptunes and the happy-ass beat.
Yeah, the Neptunes are the goats, man.
They're not. And I love their clip stuff and some of their happy stuff, but not that happy beat, no.
Niggas ain't fucking with the Neptunes. When it comes to just being able to make music for all spectrums on an even level.
They're not even the best producers to ever come out of their state.
Listen, I will say this. Timbaland's an individual.
Nothing against them.
No. I'm not mad at you for that assessment because Timbaland's incredible. But Timbaland's one individual and Pharrell and Chad are two people, so I don't think that's fair.
Like he made us buy Justin Timberlake albums.
Oh man, listen. They did it first. Justified was better than that.
He did it better, Mike. That's what I'm saying. He did it better.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's up for a debate.
Love Sounds is better than Justified, Mike.
I'm not mad at you for saying that.
And Mike, in the pinnacle,
but you know what I will say?
Mike, what's the best record on Justified? Who did the track?
Nah, Cry Me a River is definitely not the best record on there.
Yes, it is. Mike.
Rock Your Body's better than that record. Like I Love You's better than that record. Mike. Actually, honestly, to keep it real, the best record on Justified is Take You From Here, and that's Neptune.
No, Mike. Actually, Mike.
Cry Me a River wasn't that tough. I'm sorry.
Mike, I'm going to tell you something, Mike. I love Rock Your Body. That's my favorite Justin Timberlake song, actually. You might be right. I'll give you Rock Your Body.
And that stuff aged a lot better than the Future Sex Love sound.
That's the happy-ass beat they ever did, Mike. That was the shit. Yeah.
So, yeah. I want to transition to this, though. What do you think about the fact that people say that Lil Wayne would beat Jay-Z in a Verzuz? What do you think about the matchup of Wayne being in the Verzuz with Jay-Z? I know it sounds a little lopsided because of the era, but honestly, Wayne came out, 97, 98?
They've actually been out around the same time, Mike.
But let's keep it real, though.
Wayne was actually there first.
I will say this.
Wayne's been in the game longer than Jay.
That's crazy. But what we will say, though, I think that the Wayne that people herald to this level, we didn't see until the Carter one.
Right, we saw the glimpses of that guy on the Carter one, and most of that was because people were saying he took Jay's delivery.
Okay. So what do you think of the notion of Lil Wayne and Jay-Z in the Verzuz? Do you think that there's a possibility that Wayne could beat Jay in the Verzuz, or you think you got Jay on that one?
I don't like that for Wayne, and I'm going to tell you why. Because a lot of Wayne's greatest stuff has collaborations like Jay, and so it plays into Jay's hands.
Okay.
And here's what I'll tell you is that, Wayne might have more hit singles going on a solo mission than even Jay does, Mike. Like, you want to know what I just thought about? 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot. Yeah. Like, Wayne go a milli, Mike. Wayne will go ballistic on a single by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever done one of those, like, I don't know what streaming platform you're on. I know I'm on Apple Music. But, like when you click a song and then you create a radio station based off of that. Have you ever done that with Lil Wayne? Like,
I've never
he's
done
on
it.
so many songs. Like,
Yeah, yeah. No, he has a serious problem about what he would pick from. But as far as like him MCing, it's like he has enough solo standout MC cuts
yeah.
that those wouldn't get run against Jay, and that's some of his best stuff too. Like hustler music, Mike.
I don't even think he would go there. But you know what? I think that Wayne has changed so much over time that if he did do something like hustler music, people would go crazy.
Right.
It would be
That's
so
what-
nostalgic.
right.
Yeah.
Hustler music, Mike. A lot of those solo missions on the Carter 1 and the Carter 2. Oh, if he were to do those now, people would be like, oh, that's when we fell in love. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Mike, if he were to do Money on My Mind, I would lose my shit if he did Money on My Mind. That's
I
my
can't
favorite
even-
record.
That's crazy. I can't even fathom the current Wayne doing Money on My Mind. Like,
That's what I'm
he's changed so much.
But even like, you know, something like doing the verses from Stunting Like My Daddy, like Wayne's a problem.
When I was 13, I bought my first Mercedes-Benz. I love that record.
Girlfriend, white leather, hot new pair of rims, brand new pistol with a trigger like a hair.
Even if he did like his verse on We Taking Over. Like, I think Wayne does enough shows where he understands where the people are, right? What makes people go crazy about, you know, the stuff that he's done. And yeah, I think that he would have a really good gauge on that in a similar way that Snoop Dogg does. And I think that's why Snoop will be so strong in the verses against anybody, because he has a very good gauge on his own catalog. And I think
Mike,
Wayne
nobody
has
knows
that
their
too.
catalog and what to play better than Snoop. That's what I'm saying. And he has 20 records, and you could lose to him on about 15 of those records if you don't play your list right. Like, so he's dangerous. But Wayne's a problem. I just don't like the matchup with Jay for him because I don't think it's going to give him the opportunity to really bring a lot of his best stuff out. You know what I mean? Some of his best stuff has Drake on the hook, Mike. Like, I'm going to tell you, one of his best records to me is She Will. I love She Will.
Hard. I wouldn't say one of his best records, but one of my favorites.
Mike, as far as singles go, I actually do, Mike. When you look at, because Mike, here's the thing: some of his singles sound dated now too. Like the joint with T-Pain, Mike, and Lollipop. It's like, nah, that's better.
But again, I think he's changed so much that would be nostalgic for people, and I don't know if so much time has passed where you're right, it's dated.
No, but that's kind of what this is about, though, Mike. That's what I'm saying. Like Wayne, if Wayne was going to do a versus and win. That whole Carter 1 to 4 pocket and all the stuff that got made in between mixtape wise is where he would need to go. Like he wouldn't need to go to The Block Is Hot or anything before.
He shouldn't go there.
Right.
Yeah, I like Rich as Fuck with 2 Chainz too.
No, he's got stuff all over the place. He got a whole album with Chainz. That's what I'm saying. He's spitting on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he would have something that could answer Hard Knock Life.
How about this? Oh yeah, Mike, Millie's better than Hard Knock Life. That's what I'm saying. Jay play Hard Knock Life. He like, take this Millie.
I'm not a huge Hard Knock Life fan like that. I mean, I respect it. I think it's a good song, but if that's his groundbreaking record, man, we need to really reassess some things.
No, that's what I'm saying. So, Mike, listen to what you're saying about what his groundbreaking record is, Mike. Like, listen to the other rap artists, like their groundbreaking record, and put that.
Yeah, because I would say for Wayne, his groundbreaking record, it's not the breaking record, but it's a Millie. Like, you tell me, like, what is the Wayne song?
It's the coming out party record. It's a Millie.
Yeah, it's a Millie.
Yeah, and a Millie's way better than Hard Knock Life to me, Mike. Because I'll still play a Millie right now and be like, yeah, cut that shit up.
Yeah. I mean, even with somebody like a T.I., you got What You Know. Like, that's... And honestly, I don't even know if that's his quote-unquote groundbreaking record, because that could be You Don't Know Me. That could be Rubber Band Man.
No, Mike. It's What You Know, Mike.
I think What You Know is his best record. But the one that broke the ground for him, I don't know, man. I like how...
Actually, Mike, Rubber Band Man was the one.
I think the Rubber Band Man is the answer.
Rubber Band Man.
I think that's the answer.
That's what I mean. So, Mike, even go to Tip. Tip got groundbreaking records, Mike. We could go to Pussy Popper #1 that put him on the scene, Mike. We could go to 24s. We could go to Rubber Band Man.
Well, I was going to go Dope Boys in the Trap. I think that's probably the most important song of his career.
Mike, we can go bring them out because that might have brought the crossover appeal from people from the East Coast because
Well,
it
yeah,
had Jay on the
that
hook.
was his most important crossover record. But
we just named a lot of groundbreaking
if
stuff.
we could go Never Scared, really, because that was his coming out party. So.
Mike, you and I think that Dope Boy Fresh is his coming out moment. That's when we heard him like, yo, this nigga's nice.
Yeah, Dope Boy Fresh is my personal coming out party for T.I.
Yeah, that's our personal tip coming out party, Mike. Most people are watching probably don't even know Dope Boy Fresh or ain't even heard it in so long.
Yeah, people are saying ASAP. People are saying Rubber Band Man 24. I'm with 24. I'm with 24s too because I remember when trap music dropped, 24s was everywhere. Like you out there at on Spring Street at Club Envy or whatever, like 24s is bumping out of everybody's cars.
Mike, when trap music came out, Chris, who you went to high school with, Chris called me. He was in Gwinnett. He was like, nigga, come to me right now. I'm thinking we got issues or something. We got beef. Like, I'm tooling up and shit. I get all the way out there to see this fool. I drive an hour. He's like, nigga, this T.I. got the streets on lock. I was like, nigga, you had me drive an hour to tell me about T.I.'s new album. I looked at him. I said, nigga, I'm leaving my car right here. I said, this better be one of the best rap albums I ever heard, Mike.
Listen, man, I was at Radio 1. I was interning when trap music came out. And, yeah, man, he had Atlanta on lock in a way honestly, at that time, I had never really experienced. Obviously, we seen what Goody Mob and Outkast did. We were a lot younger at that time. But as far as, like, as they say, being outside, I had never seen anybody had a city like that. And, you know, much respect to Luda. Luda took things on a national level, like out the gate, like Incognito, Bubble. He was out of here once he got to Def Jam South. But we saw like the whole slow play with T.I. We saw I'm Serious drop and not do what it needed to do. We saw the fact that Dope Boys in the Trap, carried over and was getting play. We saw the mixtapes. We saw him on Never Scared. We saw 24 Bubble. We saw it all. And he had the streets on lock, man.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way. You know, you need that foundation. And honestly, man, Jay had that foundation off of Reasonable Doubt and Volume 1. Those two albums are super important to Jay's career. Because imagine if Jay would have just came out with Hard Knock Life.
Well, stop. Well, here's where I am going to step back and give Jay something because here's what we have to remember. Jay is a hustler and a businessman. Mike, after Reasonable Doubt, Jay was just supposed to do a 6-track EP.
You believe that?
Mike,
You believe they were going to hand the keys over to Memphis Bleak to run the whole rock? Yeah, with this man having the skill set he has?
I mean, okay, so Mike, well, that kind of goes back to what we believe about Jay. So let's go to You Don't Know, where he's like, I came into this game 100 grand strong, 9 to be exact. So, Mike, if he's almost a millionaire, literally 6 figures, like 100 G's away from being a millionaire off what he was doing before he stepped in, Mike, they got a $5 million distribution deal off rip. And that's not counting show money and all that. So you have to understand that
But finish the line, though.
Well, Mike,
one rhyme could beat that.
No. Right.
Yeah.
In 1997, though, Mike, probably was already a multi-millionaire. And here's what people forget about this. In 1997, this dude is 28 going on 29-ish. He got Reasonable Doubt him at 26, 27. So he's 27, 28. That's different than an 18, 19, 20-year-old that's stepping in the game like Biggie or Nas or Mobb Deep or Rakim. So his perspective is different. He's always been a businessman. So that might have been more of a business decision at the time. What was a better decision was to step in and fill the gap when Biggie died on March 9th.
So you think if Biggie would have stayed alive, he would have actually followed through, with the retirement?
I think I wouldn't say followed through. I think the avenues that he would have traveled as a businessman, he would have traveled more aggressively and quicker about Big being there because he's standing in the lane and dominating the lane.
I got you.
In epic fashion.
Yeah, and I think even their collaborations and even him being a part of the commission, it's like, okay, let me get a piece of this lane so I can navigate in whatever way I need to navigate through business-wise. I get that.
Right. Because he was always a businessman and astute and thought like that. So no, that's not beyond the realm of thinking to me. And Mike, and when I hear that it was a 6-track EP, it's like, no, I can almost tell you the records that was probably on there. 1,000,001 Questions, Rhyme No More, Friend or Foe 98, Streets is Watching, Imaginary Player, Rap Game, Crack Game, and Where I'm From. That's because all that shit sounds like an extension of him coming off a Reasonable Doubt.
Well, all right. I would ask you, and maybe you just gave me the answer. When Beans came along, and it was clear that Beans was as special as he was,
Very
still
special.
is.
Very special.
Why didn't he bow out the game at that point and just say, you know what, I'm going to be an executive? Because you would think that that would be the perfect artist to kind of bow out and do that with.
No, I think Mike.
He checked all his boxes.
Therein lies the problem. He actually had found somebody that had the ability to be just as good and maybe possibly even better than him. And what has history taught us about how he takes when it comes to people like that?
He views them as competition? Not sure. I mean, listen.
Oh, yes, he's highly competitive, Mike. That's what I'm trying to say is like, I think Beans probably reignited the competition factor in him because he was hearing somebody like Mike. He did an interview once when he's like, when he heard Beans spit, he was hearing the future of Roc-A-Fella, as in the guy that was going to take his place.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been
what does
reality,
that say? But they thought that guy was good enough to take his place. Mike, when does a king ever go silent into the night, though? You seen The Godfather Part 2, before Hyman Roth, where, like you seen how that played out, where it's like he was old and he was dying, but he was still trying to get Mike murdered. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, even if he can have it for 2 or 3 more years without Mike there, like he'll take that at that old age while he's dying.
Kanye wasn't supposed to happen. Beans was supposed to happen.
Kanye's an accident he couldn't control.
It's an accident he couldn't control. And I think that also, all right, there's a lot of things I want to unpack here, right? I think Beanie Sigel clearly was special. I remember reading the articles and all the talk up that they had about Beans before I had even heard anything. And Jay was talking big about Beans. And all this stuff really added up. Beans on the Dynasty clearly showed how special he was, right? Not to mention everything else that he did with his solo career. And even you hear those collaborations with Jay and Beans with like Once Again It's On and all that. He's going tit for tat. And even with Scarface, the three of them, you got to be special. You sitting here rhyming with Scarface and Jay on 3 different records, and all 3 of those records are special. Right?
Mike, without really a solo album on 2 of those records, I think he didn't have a solo album when they did 2 of those, right?
No, The Truth was out.
The Truth was out? Okay.
Yeah, The Truth was out. But see, this is the thing, man. And I think we've said this on a previous show. We got 250 people in here right now, so I'll say it again. I think Beanie Sigel being able to make the music that he was able to make with the handicap of having Jay have to sign off on his tracks beforehand is one of the greatest feats in rap history. Imagine, because let's just keep it real. Based on the way their thing was structured, for people who don't know, the way Roc-A-Fella Records was structured, Jay had to sign off, Dame had to sign off, and Biggs had to sign off on the record. So if Beanie Sigel came to the table, let's just say him and Kanye recorded everything on the blueprint, and these are Sigel songs, went through the studio, Jay has to sign off on this. So all Jay has to say was, this Heart of the City record, I don't like this one. We're not using that one. It comes off, and Jay ends up getting the track if he wants it. That's how this thing was set up. So,
it was kind of set up like, Mike, I told you I used to listen to Siegel's tracks and be like, oh, these are the dope tracks that Jay didn't want.
Exactly.
Stop Chill, Mike. Every time I listen to Stop Chill, it's like, oh, he wanted that beat and didn't know what to do with it.
Stuff like The Roc on Cameron's record probably slipped through the cracks. You know what I'm saying?
I think he was a little bit out of the fray by then. I think that was around like the first vacation that he took time when all that.
Right, let's get all the beats while Jay's on vacation. But no, I mean, the thing is,
he took Heart of the City from Beans. Like, man, like that shit ain't never about to sit right with me. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care who you are.
And with that being said, it's no accident that Kanye wasn't able to emerge and have the career that he had until Jay retired. When Jay said, you know what, I'm putting down the mic in 03, boom, 04, we got the College Dropout. That's no coincidence.
Feed me beats, Easy.
Right.
Feed me.
And you know what? And when you listen to Kanye's tracks, a lot of that stuff, like you said, he rapped on some of the tracks that you knew Jay wouldn't know what to do with.
Right. I told you, Mike, the highlights on The Truth sound like beats that Jay couldn't rap to. The song The Truth, Mike. Stop, chill. What's your life like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. You're right. And it's like, obviously, the same collective that's producing The Blueprint made Philadelphia Freeway, which is a dope album. But Mike, it's clear who gets first.
Got some of those beats.
Yeah. But it's clear who gets first hack at these tracks. But with that being said, the fact that Beanie Sigel was able to make the incredible amount of music or quality of music, having to have a bulk of his career under that is incredible. Because I can only imagine if Beans was like the headlining artist somewhere else and didn't have to deal with that, what type of tracks he would have been able to get. Like, can Beanie Sigel make It's Dark and Hell is Hot having to have Jay sign off on all his records? No. But if he weren't with them in that capacity, he definitely could.
Mike, I'm going to tell you who he is. Beans is so great that it's like he could have made something like Illmatic and something like It's Dark and Hell is Hot.
No, I agree with you. And, and I think that,
he's like that.
I'm going to say this. And
he's like that.
Obviously, Roc-A-Fella's, legacy is what it is. There would be no Roc-A-Fella records without the talents of Jay-Z. I think I've said in the previous show there would be no Kanye West in the capacity we know him if not for the talents of Jay-Z. But what I will say, currently, I feel like Kanye West is the one that is carrying the torch of that Roc-A-Fella legacy from his relationship with Dame. And, now you see Beanie Sigel around a lot. You see Freeway there. You see Chris. And he's embracing all of it. I could see music coming out of this. Music that wouldn't,
Mike, because he was little man on the totem pole, Mike.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like, Mike, that's almost damn near biblical. Like if you go back like to David and Joseph and how the older brothers treated them, you know what I'm saying?
The first should be last, right?
Yeah, Mike. I was a little dude on the totem pole sitting in the back or sitting at the board making beats while everybody else is being the star. And now he's really the guy who's running shit. Like,
and with all that being said, and I know Jay is very confident in his abilities and his career and his catalog as he should be. But with all of that being said, you do not want to step on a Verzuz stage with Kanye West. Because Kanye West can also hit you with some of this unreleased crap that is crazy, like My Mama's Boyfriend, YouTube That, or Chain Heavy, YouTube That.
Chain Heavy.
Yeah, he could hit you with things like that. That for an artist as big as him, and these are records that people don't really know like that, if they heard those for the first time, people would be like, whoa. That would make, as much as I love his Grammy Family freestyle, that would trump that.
Also, too, man, like Ye has stunted on record on Jay a few times too. Let's not like Swagger Like Us. No, like he's got a better verse than Jay. Otis, better verses than Jay. Run This Town, Mike, better verse than Jay. Like, he done stunted on him lyrically too. That's the problem. It's like he done stunted on you bar for bar, like room in the same room, MC wise too. And he making the beat.
Well, the thing is, lyrically, Jay is who he is, and we've seen that on like Diamonds or whatever, right? But what Kanye has that Jay doesn't have is that wittiness and personality on the mic. He could out-swag Jay on the mic at any given day.
Mike, so you going to Diamonds to see early on? I thought he out-swagged Nas on We Major.
Yeah.
And some head on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
And a chick to say yes too soon. Until you have a daughter, that's what I call karma, and you pray to God she don't grow breasts too soon. That's not super lyrical, Mike, but he's swagging.
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't in the clan, but I bought my hood with me.
Yeah, man. He can do that.
He can do that, Mike.
And he can do that on stage. He did
Mike,
that to
no,
Common
here's
on
the
They
thing.
Say, remember?
No, Mike. No, Mike. He can do that to an upper echelon MC coming after him on the track and still stunt, Mike. Yeah, like
He did. You know what? He did it to Nas on Still Dreaming too. Daydreaming.
I
Yeah.
didn't necessarily feel that way about that
Woo.
one. How about this? I like
No,
Nas.
he went in on there.
I like Nas's performance on both of them. Mike, that verse on We Major is just so witty, Mike. It's so witty. I still smile every time I hear it.
Honestly,
You know what I mean?
I would love for him to even do that at a verse. It's like, it's just so different.
It is, Mike. He hit different.
And honestly, man, I feel like his music has aged incredibly. That's the other thing about Kanye West. I don't listen to his shit, and other than Stronger, songs that I didn't like anyway.
There's some stuff on Graduation that I didn't feel like aged well, but almost everything else this classic has, yeah.
I mean, even if we talk about Graduation, he did I Wonder at the concert with him and Drake. That shit is epic.
Mike, you want to know if that's one of those records? That's what I talk about. That's that stadium flow.
That shit is epic. Yeah, and that's why he did it there. It's a stadium record.
Stadium flow. Yeah, that's stadium flow. Yeah.
Even Flashing Lights.
Mike, you know how I feel about Flashing Lights. That's a special record. You play Flashing Lights forever.
I mean, Everything I'm Not made me everything I am. I love The Glory.
The Glory is probably my second favorite record on there after Flashing Lights, Mike.
I'm not even a super Graduation fan like that, but he got some joints
on there, Mike.
Yeah.
Like I said, some of the stuff didn't age well. Like I don't love Barry Bonds as much as I used to. You know what I'm saying?
I think that was one of those records made for the time. I think Stronger was made for the time.
Was made for the times. Good Life. How about this, Mike? I don't even think Ye should play Good Life. Like if Ye could do 3 verses and not play Good Life.
Nah, I don't think he. Yeah, I don't think he would. All right, we have covered.
We done with Jay? We done with Jay? We?
No. It's one thing we haven't covered when it comes to this.
Okay. No, I was
the
just asking
possibility of a Jay-Z and Nas.
You don't want none of that Death Row East, Mike. I told you, Mike, you don't want none of that Death Row East. I had run-ins with Suge. Niggas
let me play devil's advocate here because I think what people will say when it comes to Nas is not the beat picker that Jay-Z is, and Nas doesn't have the hits that Jay-Z has. What would you say to someone who would say that Jay-Z would beat Nas in a versus because Nas just doesn't have the hits? And I want to hear what people in the chat have to say too. Do y'all think Nas would beat Jay in a versus, or do you think Jay would beat Nas in a versus?
These hits that you're talking about, they're not fire like y'all are saying. That's what I'm trying to say. So let's take Nas's biggest hit record, which is If I Ruled the World. Mike, that record is better than almost all of these Jay singles that we name. You get what I'm saying? Mike, If I Rule the World is better than Ain't No Nigga?
No. I don't particularly like either one of those records. I don't really know.
I'm not really that big of a fan of either, Mike, but indulge me, Mike.
But if you're throwing that at me, I would say that If I Ruled the World is probably a bigger record.
That's what I'm saying. If I Ruled the World's a better record than Hard Knock Life. That's his groundbreaking single. If I Ruled the World wouldn't even make my Nas's versus playlist. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that Nas, again, he could do 7 songs off of Illmatic and be fine.
Well, Mike, that's what I'm saying. So he's going to do 7 songs off Illmatic. He's going to do Made You Look. So you lost 8 records right there. Like, you lost 8 records. Like, what you going to do?
Well, see, I think that the approach when it comes to Nas, he's going to have to play B-side records.
Mike, Nas is playing B-side records against anybody. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, hold on, Mike, what do you like better, The World Is Yours or Dead Presidents 2? Because I think that's the most fair battle.
Damn, that's hard.
That's the best battle between the songs if we're actually talking.
Listen, I personally like Dead Presidents too, but I think in a matchup, The World Is Yours will win.
Right. What's the more classic record? What's going to play? Like
the more classic record is The World Is Yours.
Right.
And again, and I say this because it was classic on its own merit. I think that a lot of the things on Reasonable Doubt became classic after the fact that Jay-Z became who he became.
So, Mike, there's some LL Cool J effect with Nas. It's like when some of this stuff drops, it's gonna feel so classic to people. It's gonna be like, oh, like Mike, when the Beat the New York State of Mind drops, it doesn't matter what record Jay plays. That's a L. You understand what I'm saying?
Mike, all right, I got something here, man, and I want to pull it up on the screen since we got so many people here. But no, continue what you're saying.
Mike,
there's a mock versus here. We didn't pick this, but I found this online. And they got 29 songs and 20 J songs, and I kind of wanted to go through it, if that's cool. Let's go through
them, but they're probably picking the wrong Nas records.
Let's see. I think these are some
of it's like that Nas shit. It feels classic, kind of like LL does for times. It's like Mike, when the beat that It Ain't Hard to Tell drops, Mike. You know what I'm saying, Mike? We were just at the holiday party. You seen how we all got when It Ain't Hard to Tell dropped.
It's incredible, man.
It was different, Mike. We was all quiet, and the beat dropped, and we were all rapping.
I don't know if Jay has that, man.
That's what I'm saying, Mike. So so even Nas's like singles that aren't hit records, no, he's about to beat Jay because of that classicness of the records. And so he don't need to play singles. He can play a bunch of The World Is Yours and New York State of Minds and Made You Look and Rewind and You're the Man and Silent Murder and Do Rags and Death Row East and Store Run and Daughters. And No Locomotive. You get where I'm like, you got these for days, Mike. You can just keep on going and keep on going and going. I Gave You Power, The Setup, Shootouts, Live Nigga Rap.
Okay.
Mike, Mike, would you like me to keep going, Mike? I haven't bought up Nas's Life. Like, you don't got nothing for this shit, Mike. Go put Nas's Like up against some of these singles, Mike. Nas's Like are 99 Problems. Jay got 99 Problems. It's 99 Nas songs. Those are his songs. Those problems.
All right, you know what? I'm doing some programming right now. I'm about to actually get this list up here. We're doing this live on the show, so here we go. All right. I got the list up. And I think everybody in the room can see the list, right? So, first round, we got Where I'm From versus New York State of Mind. What say you?
That's probably one of my 5 favorite Jay-Z songs, Mike, but we already know how that goes.
Yeah,
Mike.
We know how that one goes. Let me Let me take score on this. And I want to know what the people in the chat say. What y'all say. I got New York State of Mind on this.
Mike, everybody with a conscience got that. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not beating that record.
All right, so we got Dirt Off Your Shoulders, Got Yourself a Gun. I'm not a fan of either of these records.
Mike, neither one of these records need to be on the verses for either one of these guys, so I don't even want to rate the record. That's why I'm saying.
All right, let's leave that off.
Yeah, we're leaving that off. You can keep both of those.
Can I Live? It Ain't Hard to Tell.
Mike, once again, Mike, which way are we about to lean? That's why I'm saying every time Jay has that classic stuff, now I've got something more classic. New York State of Mind, It Ain't Hard to Tell.
I'm about to text it to you so you can see it too.
I don't need to see what I know.
Otis and Fastlane. I think that's interesting.
Ooh, I think that's interesting too, Mike. I'm actually going to tell you something. I would actually call that a draw. I would draw that because I don't have a clear answer for you.
Damn, I'm gonna give that one to Jay.
I'm not, Mike. That's Cool G rapping Nas on record the only time.
All right, we'll call that a draw. What do the people in the room say? Otis or Fastlane? All right, I'll wait for everybody's answers because we got a whole bunch of people in here right now. All right, so I Just Want to Love You or You Owe Me. That's not right.
This is so whack.
Yeah, that's I Just Want to Love You.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Izzo and Made You Look.
Mike, why are we doing that? See, that's what I'm saying. This isn't fair. Like the previous one wasn't fair to Nas. That one wasn't fair to Jay.
So that's Nas again. 1,000,001 Rhyme No More versus The Message. That's a good one.
Mike, but that's what I'm talking about, Mike. The Message. Mike, you already
I'm going 1,000,001. I got to be honest. I'm going with 1,000,001.
We're going to let the people decide that, Mike. You're about to lose this. Go ahead.
I want to ask the people. 1,000,001 Rhyme No More or The Message?
That's a good one. Go. That means your feelings hurt, Mike.
This is. I don't think that the chat has caught up yet.
That's cool. They got time.
I don't think the chat is caught up, but people are saying Fastlane, Made You Look. It's up.
I tried to tell you. Fast Life is. I mean,
Fast Life. Excuse me. All right, so we got The Message. 1,000,001. All right, A Message. 1,000,001. We got Jay. Tie. New York State of Mind 2. Okay. The message, the message, the message.
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest songs ever written.
Right, Mike. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, what
The
are we? What are you
message, the
doing,
message,
Mike?
the message. Okay.
So, Mike, let's stop right there. This is exactly what I'm talking about how this battle isn't fair to Dre. Where I'm from might be one of Jay's 3 to 5 best street records, Mike, but against New York State of Mind, no. Mike, Can I Live might be his best street record, Mike, but when you put on It Ain't Hard to Tell, it's like, no. Mike, Made You Look, that's a no against anybody, Mike. That's a no.
And that's why I wanted to go out here and just print like a random one. Like I just went and found like a random matchup just to see how this would match. Because again, like you said, some of these we wouldn't have even chosen and wouldn't have chosen it in that way.
Right, but this is what I'm saying. But when you go to 1,000,001 Questions, Rhyme No More versus The Message, and people still pick The Message, it's like, Mike, The Message probably isn't even one of Nas's 10 best lyrical performances on the mic. That is one of Jay's 10 best lyrical performances on the mic. It's different when it's matched up head to head.
I think when it comes to Nas, and I just saw
Mike, watch Jay lose one of his greatest records again.
I know that's what I was gonna go next.
It's gonna keep happening to him. That's why I said against Rakim and Nas, he's not winning, and this is why.
All right, well, what you're talking about is Heart of the City versus One Love. I'm picking Heart of the City, but
Mike, and the people are about to run in the chat and hit you with One Love.
Yeah, you're probably right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mike, One Love is better than The Message lyrically and beat wise.
I'm not
message wise. And it's more classic, and it's on a better album.
Miss Mo said a random matchup and it's still a landslide. Right?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, this wasn't even thought out. It's just a random matchup.
I didn't even get to pick this list, and he's losing.
Rugged 89 New York, he was saying that Jay's hits are corny and unoriginal. I think people respect.
I wouldn't go there.
I think people respect Nas's originality. You know what I'm saying? And obviously his incredible lyricism and incredible catalog, but his originality when it matches up to Jay, I think that's where the real imbalance is. You know what I mean?
Hold on, Mike, let's stop for a second and go back. Let's just count it all like it is. So Where I'm From versus New York State of Mind is New York State of Mind. That's one, right?
That's one. I'm taking score over here. Go ahead.
Dirt Off Your Shoulder, Got Yourself a Gun. That's Dirt Off Your Shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we didn't rate that, but go ahead.
No, we just gonna rate it. Let's just
let's rate it. Yeah, that's Dirt Off Your Shoulders.
Can I Live? It Ain't Hard to Tell. That's It Ain't Hard to Tell. As much as I love Can I Live, I keep one eye open like CBS.
But it ain't hard to tell us. Yeah.
Right. Oldest or Fast Life? I called that a draw. What did the people say, Mike?
I saw a bunch of Fast Life, but I have to go all the way
Fast Life better, but I can draw it for obvious reasons because I feel like the records are close enough. And I think, how about this, Mike? That's like picking the ballers versus the MCs. Like, which one? You know what I'm saying? Like, you got your preference, but I think they both performed at a high level, so we'll call it a draw. So it's 2-1 draw, right?
Mm-hmm.
I Just Want to Love You versus You Owe Me. That's I Just Want to Love You, Mike.
Okay.
Easy. You Owe Me never has any place on any of Nas's playlists. He needs to take that record away the same way he made Braveheart Party disappear. He needs to make You Owe Me disappear.
Made You Look. That's a win.
Versus Izzo, yeah. So now it's 3-2 draw. 1,000,001 Rhyme No More versus The Message.
The Message.
4-2 draw.
People picked One Love over Heart of the City.
Mike, I didn't need to see them tell me that to tell you that, Mike. One Love's one of the best hip hop records ever.
So the next one we have is Takeover Ether. I honestly think Takeover is a better record. It's hard to,
Can't we just call that a draw? So not to get into the whole thing.
Yeah, not to get into the whole whatever.
Let's not get into all that. So, Mike, right now it's 5-2.
Ooh, I like this next one. Hard Knock Life and I Can.
Okay.
I personally like I Can better. I personally
think they both can take these records back.
Yeah,
but
I get it. You know what I'm saying? They went for the
I
Annie.
would call that a draw too, actually.
What do people think in the chat? I want to see what people think.
Mike, I'm going to surprise you. I would lean towards Hard Knock Life. And that's like educational Nas on Godson, and I would still tell you Hard Knock Life maybe. I didn't love I Can. I just didn't. Because here's the thing. It seemed like Nas was making it a point to make a message. And it's like, when did you ever have to make it a point to make a message? Like, your message, like, kind of glows out through, like, the bars, like, regardless.
I'm not mad at that. Yeah, Hard Knock Life or I Can. People are saying Jay. People are saying Jay. Hard Knock Life. Okay.
Yeah, we'll give that to Jay. I would say Jay on that. Yeah.
All right, so we got Niggas in Paris and We Major. I like We Major better.
I like We Major better than Niggas in Paris.
But Niggas in Paris is a bigger hit. I mean,
right. I'm willing to call that a draw too, for kind of the same reason I called Otis and Fast Life a draw. You feel me? It's kind of the same thing going on a little bit, which says a lot about Ye's capability.
But you know what's interesting? Let's look at this. Kanye has been two of these are Watch the Throne songs, and we're only like 11 songs in.
Well, Mike, that's because he needs that to go against Nas. I could have told you that, Mike.
Like, Nas didn't need We Major, but they picked We Major playing off of Niggas in Paris.
Right. I mean, that's fine. Like I said, Mike, we can still, Mike.
Brooklyn's Finest or Life's a Bitch. Life's a Bitch better than Brooklyn's Finest.
Mike, the beats are better, the rhymes are better, the hook is better, everything about it's better.
It's an incredible classic. You Don't Know on one mic. That's You Don't Know.
It is. That's the first time he took a great record from Nas since we've been doing this stuff. That's the first great Nas record that Jay had a record that was greater. We're how many songs in?
We're 14 songs in. 99 Problems and Hate Me Now. I like Hate Me Now more. I'm not a big fan of 99 Problems.
I'm a big fan of 99 Problems. I like Hate Me Now. I would call this a draw.
I want to see what the people have to say.
I want to see what the people have to say. Yeah.
What do y'all think is the better record? 99 Problems or Hate Me Now? And I'm surprised, man. You were really advocating for Hate Me Now at one period.
No, I mean, Mike, it's a great record for the times, and it's aged fairly well. But it has not like, how about this? It's not like when I'm going back and digging the Nas's best shit, I'm like, oh man, play that Hate Me Now.
Like, no, I would never play it. All right, I see 99 Problems from Terminator 2. What up, Terminator 2? We got Hate Me Now. We got 99. We got Draw. We got 99 Problems. We got Hate Me Now. Hate Me Now. Jay,
draw.
Hate Me Now. Yeah.
Draw. Just draw, like I said. Yeah. It's a draw. Because I knew it was close. Yeah, it's close enough that it's a draw.
All right. Big Pimpin' and Uchiwale. I really don't like these songs.
Mike, you could take both of these.
But Big Pimpin's the better of the two.
Yeah, Big Pimpin's better. But Mike, the reason that Big Pimpin's better has nothing to do with Jay.
No, it doesn't.
Right.
Dead Presidents 2 and The World Is Yours. I think that's the one you matched up, right?
Yep, I sure did, Mike. And The World Is Yours is the better record.
I just said that. I can't back down on that.
Mike, will back you down if you try to say that Dead Presidents.
Oh, Imaginary Player, Memory Lane. My goodness.
Memory Lane, Mike.
That's crazy, because that's one of my 5 favorite Jay records.
No, Mike, that's what I'm saying about, how about this, Mike? This is exactly how I feel about them. That is probably my favorite Jay record. Memory Lane is like probably my 8th or 9th favorite Nas record, but Memory Lane's still better.
A lot of people feel like Memory Lane is the best song on Illmatic. I've heard that.
Mike, I think, like, Mike, if we're actually talking about his lyrical performance, Mike, the best lyrical performance on arguably the best lyrical album of all time is Memory Lane. Yeah.
Memory Lane gives me chills, man. That whole thing about, his man was shot for a sheep coat. And I still...
My man was shot for a sheet of coke.
Was that what it said?
Yeah.
I thought he said... Hold on. Say that again?
My man got shot for a sheet of coke. Like for a little bit of coke.
I thought he said sheep coat. Either way, it's sad.
Was it sheep coat? I thought it was sheet of coke.
Yeah, I thought he said like a sheep coat.
You talking about sheep coat? My man got shot for a sheep coat. Sheep coat.
Yeah, that's what I thought he said. Either way, it's sad.
I think you're right. No, Mike. You want to know? I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Like that second verse, the second verse on there is the best verse on the album to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's hard to identify the best verse on Illmatic, but I was thinking along the lines of One Love.
But you want to know what, Mike? I don't like this for Jay, though, because really, if you were going to put something up against Memory Lane, you probably should have did like The Eagles. You know what I'm saying? Something a little more personal.
Yeah, everybody in the chat saying sheep coat.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
I was about to say, man, I was like, wait a minute. That was a moment for me. I was like, yeah, man,
Well, I guess that
was
would kind of
chilling.
be that kind of go to the time too. No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
bad. I'm not perfect, you know.
All right. So where we at now?
Oh, I
Uh,
love the next one, Mike. I want the people to decide the next one.
the
Hold on, where are we at?
Evils. I gave you power. Whew.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I
Did we score the imaginary play in memory lane? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
memory
Okay.
lane, right? What
Yeah.
number are we on?
I don't think I took score. We on 17. No,
Yeah, I
we're
got
on 18. Excuse me. The Evils. I gave you power.
you know what I got, Mike, but I want to let the people decide. Because if they said the evils, I wouldn't be mad. I think I gave you power. Might be Nas's best lyrical performance from end to end, hook included. Like, think about what that's saying. That might be his best lyrical performance as far as one verse, two verse, three verse, and hook. That might be Nas's best mic performance. So,
Everybody's saying I gave you power. I think the Evils is the better song, but hey, if that's what the people say, it's what the people say.
told you.
And these are, once again, just a random. I went on Google and shout out to whoever put this together. I'm going to see if I can find the people who put it together. I just pulled up a random matchup, and these are random songs. So even on a random one, this is looking like Nas 9-5. Again, Jay said nobody can stand next to him on that stage. Okay.
Got 3 draws. Let's go to the last couple, Mike.
Okay, last couple. We got Can't Knock the Hustle or If I Ruled the World. I think that's a really comparable matchup in that way.
I like Can't Knock the Hustle more. I just do.
I like Can't Knock
feels
the
more
Hustle
organic.
more. But if we're sitting on that stage, I could see If I Ruled the World winning that. I want to see what the people say.
I'm about to say, are we drawing that?
What's the better song, Can't Knock the Hustle or If I Ruled the World? Now people are saying A Sheet of Coke. Oh man, now we have a question to ask Nas when we meet him.
Right. So I thought he was saying my man got shot for a sheet of coke.
I think more people are saying sheep coat. All right.
That's my man got shot.
So I am looking for. I guess it hadn't caught up to people yet. Okay, If I Ruled the World. 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 Mary versus Lauren feature. Can't Knock the Hustle. Can't Knock the Hustle. Yeah, it's If I Ruled the World, Knock the Hustle. The song with Lauren, If I Ruled the World, If I Ruled the World, Can't Knock the Hustle, Can't Knock the Hustle. It's kind of a draw. It's more If I Ruled the World coming in too.
No, Mike, that's why I wanted to call it a draw. No, Mike, you're right. So Rap Genius says my man was shot for his sheep coat. Yep.
Well, they don't always be right, but okay. But nah, I was just kidding. Nah,
Very shady.
nah, they don't. I was looking up a Ghostface lyric, man, and he said Dax Wave or something like. Clearly, he's talking about the Dax Wave grease. They said some other shit like. I was like, come on, man, y'all don't even know what Dax Wave grease is. But shout out to the people at Rap Genius. I'm cool with one of the founders.
Thank you. Be nice to the guys at Rap Genius.
And what I was gonna say too is Nas has worked with them early on, like he was an early investor, so I'm sure they got his lyrics right.
Pretty certain.
Yeah.
So Mike, so it's 5-9 with 4 draws, and we only got 1 record left.
PSA versus Nas is like, whoa.
I'll draw that record too, Mike.
You know what? If this was You Don't Know instead of PSA, I would say You Don't Know.
I would.
But when it comes to you PSA and Nas is like, Freedom of Jail clips inserted. The baby being born same time a man is murdered. The beginning and end. As far as rap goes, it's only natural to explain my plateau and also what defines my name. First I was nasty. Now times have changed. Ask me now, I'm the artist. Hardcore, my signs of pain. I spent time in the game. Yeah, this is Nas's like. I'm sorry. Listen,
I was Mike.
I think the PSA beat is better than Jay is on there.
Mike, you want to know what I was about to say? This record, like, how about this, Mike? People lean on Nas's like lyrically more than they lean on I Gave You Power when they bring up Nas's lyrical capabilities. When they go to it, they be like, go to Nas's like. Because, Mike, Once again, verse 1, verse 2, verse 3 are all verse of the year material verses. All 3 verses are verse of the year material verses, Mike.
Yeah. Split Spark says Mike comes across as a hater. And right on cue, there are people who say that Eminem and Jay in a Verzuz is bogus. I didn't say that. Eminem's name is trending on Twitter because some people feel like that. Somebody said, I've seen some bogus names listed as people that could beat Jay-Z in the Verzuz. Dude just said Eminem.
Did we do a Jay-Z and Nas mock Verzuz? Like, did we do one already?
I don't think we did one.
Do you want to?
Sure, I'll do that. I'll take on Jay.
I feel sorry for you.
I know, man. It's going to be tough. I'll do that. Yeah. I'll take on Jay and, try to do him justice. But I think the problem is deciphering through his best records and the hit records.
See, that's
because they're not the same.
No, well, that's what I'm saying, Mike. Nas is so great. Like, I can probably just pick his 20 best records.
No, you can't. And again, you have such an easier job because I think all of Nas's best records are clearly defined. I think I'm gonna have to take the angle of just, especially going against Nas, I'm gonna have to pick Jay-Z's best records.
I mean, Mike,
I can't even try to go the hits.
I mean, Mike, I think I could beat you. Like, this is exactly what I think. I think if we were to take the Illmatic and It Was Written tracks and Nas's guest appearances, I could beat you.
Well, the fact that let me look back at this list. The fact that The Message beats out A Million and One is disturbing to me. That makes it very hard. No, I'm just saying it makes that very hard for me to even start choosing because it's like if you lose A Million and One to The Message, it's like
you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean that's tough.
Yeah, because you're about to lose Rewind. You about to lose Made You Look. You about to lose The World Is Yours.
And the fact that Heart of the City,
New York State of Mind.
Yeah, and the fact that Heart of the City loses to One Love, I got to come with nothing but haymakers, like from beginning to end.
It's not enough, Mike. How about this, Mike? When you say, "How about this, Mike?" You Don't Know or New York State of Mind.
I think You Don't Know, but I could see somebody choosing otherwise.
No, Mike. Rappers are monkey flipping with the funky rhythm. I be flipping, inflicting copies.
I think You Don't Know is better. But, again, if somebody said New York State of Mind is better,
Mike, listen what I'm about to say. It's not even better beat-wise.
I disagree with that.
It's not, Mike. Watch, Mike. When New York State of Mind comes on, people go crazy.
No, you're right.
First time you really heard Nas like in full form, and it's like a beautiful sight to behold. It's a moment. Like, Mike, just him.
People are naming some dope Nas records. Last Real Nigga Alive, Do Rags, No Ideas Original.
Blaze of 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
No Bad Energy.
No Bad Energy is just solid.
I'm really gonna have to dig, and because Nas's catalog is very, very tough. Very, very tough.
Maybe we'll start off the new year with a Jay-Z Nas month Verzuz. That might be a good way to start off the new year.
I think so. I mean, I hope we can get a Verzuz like that in real life. I know Nas probably isn't gonna say anything in regards to what Jay just said about the Verzuz because again, Memphis Bleak came out. What was that, months ago, where he says that Nas just doesn't have the catalog to compete with Jay or something like that. And I told you back then when we did that show, that was coming from the mouth of Sean Carter. And this confirms such notions.
No, Mike, you did say that. That was nice foreshadowing and good reporting by you. You were like, that's coming from somewhere. And I was like, well, we don't know that. But you're right. Like, no, that's coming because now he's saying what Bleak was saying earlier. Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is what the hell are you talking about? That's what I keep saying. Like, when you say stuff like this, I want to know what records, I want to know what, because here's what I mean, is it's like, what do you really think of yourself in all of this? Like, you think Mike, you're a fan of Illmatic and it was written, dude. Like, what you talking about? Like, you're a fan of these albums. You acting like you don't got like you acting like don't nobody got no smoke for you? Like, for real? Like, who? How about this, Mike? Who paid him to say that? It's like, is somebody paying him to say some shit like that?
Who paid who to say what? You talking about Memphis Bleak?
I'm talking about who paying Jay to say that outlandish shit. It's like, is there somebody above Jay paying Jay? Because that's how it usually works. When somebody says something like that and it's this outlandish, it's usually somebody above him making him do that. It's like, who's above you making you do this?
I think this is the thing. I think that, you know, again, we've said on this show, and we say this respectfully because we commentate on hip hop, commentate on what's going on. I mean, we've even given our opinions about Benny's projects, Benny the Butcher's projects, and, you know, how we think those could be better in comparison to, you know, what Conway's put out with From a King to a God and what Westside put out with Pray for Paris, yada, yada. You know, we're just talking about hip-hop as hip-hop fans and building on it with other hip-hop fans in the chat. So when we say things like Jay hasn't really had like a legit solo hit since 2009, I mean, we're not the only people that recognize these things. So I feel like certain things are said on certain platforms just to make people kind of like be like,
they'll come on the platform.
Well, not even just that. It's like, I'm gonna tell you something is what it is without you even having to think about it. Like, yeah, nobody can be Jay. He said nobody can stand there with him. So we're not even gonna even think about that notion. He's not gonna do it to show and prove it, but he said that, so it's what it is.
No, it's not. It's not what he says it is.
It's not. Listen. All of the people in this chat, all these 250 something people watching this, or whoever's watching, you, myself, we're all hip hop fans. And like, if this random Nas selection ended up beating him out 10-5 or whatever, based on you guys, then it's not a foregone conclusion.
And Mike, I want to say, like, about half those records Nas lost, or records most Nas fans and probably Nas himself wouldn't place in this battle.
Exactly.
So it's a whole problem.
Exactly.
It's a whole problem, Mike.
And so, yeah, I mean, you know, we got to analyze things, and that's what it is. That's part of the culture, too. Like, I think that us being free media, in a sense, where, you know, we're not tied into anybody in that sense. We could just talk freely and really look into things, give our opinions, and get the opinions of the people. This ain't no radio station where, you know, we're just letting the people call in that agree with a certain narrative. Everybody's saying what they want to say. And when we analyze these things, you know, it's not as foregone of a conclusion as certain other media outlets might make you think.
Well, Mike, can we go to this for a second? So that's because, like you said, and I like the way that you phrased it, calling us free media. I guess that's a way of putting it, because when people ask what we do, I'd be like, well, we do what we think and what we feel is best for the culture, because we don't belong to anybody. And so when I say belong to somebody, I mean like Mike, like you and I, for the most part, sit down and talk about the decisions and things that we feel like are viable to discuss. There's nobody funneling money into according to hip hop in any sort of way to dictate or navigate some sort of pace about what the rhetoric is, or even how the rhetoric should be dispersed, or even when. We out here not belonging to anybody really, and and so we can get to it in a second if you want. And it's like, I think it's striking a chord with people like in the industry and just like our followers, just because, well, it's refreshing, Mike, because you can hear how much these other people belong to somebody when they pull up and hear us talking freely the way that they are. And that's where we are probably a problem on some sort of level in this, because it's like, oh, well, when people hearing us speak, it's like, oh, well, if you didn't like what I said, you're really not mad at me. You're mad at these other motherfuckers that have been gassing you up because they belong to somebody that's helping funnel your dream and your vision on your back end too, because that's how the game really gets played. We just not playing those games.
I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. You know, one other thing that before we get up out of here, I know we like 2 hours in. One thing that Jay said in that same chat or whatnot that kind of bothered me was when he said that Beyonce was an evolution of Michael Jackson. Let me get the exact quote. He said,
"You can be inexact. It's already inexact."
No. I'm gonna call it what it is. Oh shoot! I think I hit my phone. Yeah,
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
All right, my bad, y'all. Live television. Anyway, yeah, that's part of not belonging to anybody too, right? Anyway, Jay said, B's gonna be mad at me for saying this, but Michael Jackson never had a Coachella. She's an evolution of him because she watched him at 9, and the kids are the same. Listen.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
You know what? I don't want. He's right in one aspect. I think he's right that Beyonce would be mad at him because if she really studied Michael Jackson to that degree since she was 9 or whatever, she would know that what he's saying is totally off base. And to deduce this down to a 2-concert series, Coachella, like the Bad Tour was in 123 dates across 15 countries, I think it's very irresponsible. And Jay's old enough to know better than that. Listen, I don't know if anybody out there, if many of the people out there saw the Bad Tour live or you've seen it on video, or shoot, just go to YouTube and look it up. This man was giving energy from beginning to end. Didn't have like this big band, big fanfare. He had his band, but it wasn't like this big marching band, a collective like they had on the Coachella show. And I hate doing this because it sounds like I'm discrediting that. It was a great show. It was arranged very well. And it was staged very well too in phases where she was able to get her rest. And the show was more so about the all-star cast of the HBCU marching band they had, right? But this man was out here putting in the work himself. He was the one-man show. He had background dancers that he was jumping in and out of choreography with, singing live, and the tempos were like this. So if we're talking about as an individual performer, I don't see where the evolution is. Now, if you want to talk about the arrangement of concerts, which comes down to the musical director, and it comes down to everyone who was a part of that whole collective, yeah, I get that. But as an individual performer, I don't even think that should have been said.
So, Mike, that was a very, it's very eloquent, like the way that you formatted all that, Mike. I don't even think she's Janet. Next.
Now, that's a very interesting conversation because somehow
you're not even his little.
Somehow, we seem to skip over Janet. You remember before?
How did we skip over?
They did that. They did that before Kobe Bryant died. You remember that? Because it was like everybody was just skipping Kobe and LeBron Jordan. It was LeBron Jordan.
Mike, so, and I'll tell you this: it's like, oh well, in an all-time ranking, LeBron's better than Kobe in an all-time ranking because all the things that he could do. But Mike, out on that court for a game, I would never take LeBron over Kobe for
me either.
And when I mean never, I mean never. I wouldn't even think about it. It's like, Armand, you got Kobe.
No. If I'm going into a series in the finals or playoffs or whatever, and I got my pick, yeah, I'm running with Kobe. But I understand what you're saying. Like on a statistical level, excuse me, it's going to be very hard. But what I'm saying though is before he even statistically passed Kobe like that, they were skipping over Kobe.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is like Beyonce passed. Did she like pass Janet and I missed it, Mike? That's what I'm asking. Did she pass
People in
Janet?
the chat saying she's not even past Mary or Mariah.
Ooh,
you know, it's interesting because Mariah just went out there and said, you heard what Mariah said about her and Beyonce in the Verzuz, right?
She said, don't nobody want that.
She said that's disrespectful to me. That's what
I said, Mike. She said gang signs, don't nobody want that smoke, nigga.
So we talking about Michael Jackson now? Like, why ain't he just address that?
She like, how about this? Like Mariah saying she don't want no runs with my runs.
Again, man, I mean,
That's what she's saying. She's saying she don't want to run with
I
my
don't.
rumors.
I don't want
Damn,
to.
you want me to go hoop with this nigga? You know this nigga can't hoop with me. That's disrespectful. Next.
I want to say this, man. I don't want the Beehive after me or anything like that. I think Beyonce is incredibly talented. Incredibly talented. But to sit there and insinuate that somehow she's better than Michael Jackson, I think is very irresponsible.
So, Mike, I'm not entertaining that thought. That's why I want to know when she became better than Janet. That's not an entertaining type of thought to me. It's like, oh yeah, that's crazy. That's some dumbest shit you've ever said. But is she better than Janet?
You know what? She's a better vocalist than Janet.
And that's the only
she
thing.
Didn't make better albums than Janet.
No,
I don't think she has an album better than Rhythm Nation.
Like,
I mean, that's just my opinion.
Like, she doesn't have an album better than Control, Rhythm Nation, or Janet, or Make the Velvet Rope.
Velvet Rope's brilliant.
Those projects, all 4 of those projects, Mike. Like Mike, her shit don't even hit classic like Janet shit. Like, you can still play What Have You Done For Me Lately, Mike. That's like 86.
So if we're talking about a Verzuz and Beyonce and Janet, I don't think Beyonce wins that. But again, I might not be the best person to ask because I might not be in her demographic like that. You know what I'm saying? But
how's it gonna go? It's not gonna go well, Mike. Funny how time flies. No. Let's wait a while.
Yeah.
Rhythm Nation. When I Think of You.
Pleasure
Miss
Principle.
You Much. Pleasure Principle. Black Cat. That's the way it goes. Again. Throb.
Yeah. If. Yeah, it's a lot.
Man, it's
Together
a lot,
again.
Together again. Yeah, Mike, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
Where are you now?
Mm-hmm.
Mike, it's a lot.
It's a lot. And these are very quality records. Anytime, any place.
People talking like that's a little. It's a lot. She got a lot.
Anytime, any place.
Anytime, any place.
But really though, for real. With that being said, it's disrespectful to skip over her, and we're going into Michael.
Escapade.
You didn't even say all right. You know what I'm saying? Did
Mike,
you even?
All for you, Mike. All for you. That's what I'm saying. Like there's bangers everywhere. Every time she writes, like there's gonna be bangers. It's gonna be bangers that you're gonna be able to play forever. Forever. I'm still playing shit on Control. Like I'm 40. Like stop.
It's a song that I'm missing. That's one of my favorites.
Like there are plenty of songs that we're missing. I'm pretty sure we missed some pretty epic stuff.
They said it wouldn't last. We had to prove them wrong. Love Will Never Do Without You is incredible.
Love Will Never Do Without You, Mike. That might be the best song on Rhythm Nation, Mike.
In my opinion, I think it is. I think it's a top 3 Janet song for me.
How about this, Mike? People forget this. When Rhythm Nation came out, Rhythm Nation was the first album ever that had 7 top 5 singles.
Listen,
I'm going to say that again. 7 songs went top 5 off that album. Is she even Janet?
We just had a conversation about, I think it was last week, about the notion that I feel like Dangerous is a better album musically than Bad.
Forgetting about Nasty Boys. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty, Mike.
Rhythm Nation is better than both Bad and Dangerous.
Fuck yeah.
It's
not even a conversation.
It's debatable with Off the Wall. If somebody
not debatable with Off the Wall, Mike. Off the Wall.
Off the Wall is a smash. I think Off the Wall is better, but if I'm sitting here ranking them or whatnot,
you can line the songs up. No, Mike, you're right. That's fair. You can line the songs up.
Yeah, it's quick. You know, it's close. It's not as far off as as people might think.
7 top 5 singles. 7.
Miss Mo said they even tried to say Drake is better than Mike. See, they gotta be. See, man,
real disrespectful.
We have to stop this stuff, man. Like, and again, man.
Hold on, Mike. What did Jay say? Y'all niggas gonna learn to respect the king.
We gotta, yes, exactly, and it's real. Like, especially with one of the highlights of Jay's career at that point was the fact that Michael showed up to Summer Jam that year. That was one of those moments where you realize, yo, Jay is big.
No, he's big. He can pull Michael Jackson. Yeah, that's when you realize. That's what I mean.
He's even said it in the raps. But I guess since he got close to Obama, you don't need the Michael Jackson side by side anymore.
You're so shady. You be taking it somewhere.
I'm just saying. I mean, you know.
Right. But no, all those things. So let's go ahead and just unpack this. Jay, there are people that can beat you in the verses, most notably Kanye, Nas, Snoop, and possibly LL, Lil Wayne, and Rakim. And that's just off first glance. as far as Beyonce is concerned. Let's not disrespect the king and bring her into conversation with him when we're not even certain or verified yet if she's better than his little sister.
But to say that Michael Jackson doesn't have a Coachella, I would argue
she don't have no Motown 25. She can't moonwalk.
That's true.
You seen her moonwalk?
She does not have a Motown 25. Motown 25 is Motown 25 won a daytime Emmy.
Did
it? Yeah, it did. It is the best television performance of all time.
Mike, even Nas references it on Can't Forget About You, or Mike when his talk was live, or when he pulled out the moonwalk from Motown 25. Like, it's legendary. Stop that.
If we want to look at Motown 25 as, an isolated incident, which it is, it's an incredible moment that we'll never get back. But he's talking about a full concert. I would argue that every single night on the Bad Tour rivals that Coachella performance. We're talking about 2 nights versus 123. And anybody could go out there on YouTube, look at the Bad Tour. Every single night was done the same exact way.
Mike, so you're speaking to something, and so I'm going to say this. And this applies to Prince, too. You do understand they're just like ridiculously ungodly work ethic is part of what led to their demise.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Like, when he's saying what he's saying, that's what I mean. It's like, it's real disrespectful. It's like, that Mike worked to a point that kind of rehabilitated him some.
He died for this shit.
Right. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Like, and because he is who he is, ain't nobody pulling him to the side and being like, yo, nigga, you can't say that.
And I'm gonna say this, and
so
listen.
Stop saying that dumb shit. You sound wild.
I'm a Jay fan.
That shit wild.
Say that, man. And I like that he prefaced it with saying that B would be mad at me. Yeah, no, of course you would.
Tomorrow and apologize and stop saying stupid shit.
So now what are we saying about the Stevie Wonders of the world? See, my thing is like, look, y'all didn't say this stuff. Y'all didn't say this stuff when Michael Jackson was alive, walking the earth.
I hate to think y'all be talking about Stevie like this. If Stevie wasn't here, that's what I'm saying. Like some guys you don't talk about, like whether they hear.
Yeah, they're gonna wait till Stevie. Come on, man. Like Stevie's here right now. Let's sit here and praise him as the best living artist that he is, other than making up this stuff.
Yeah, he's the greatest living artist right now.
Period. It's not even close.
It's not even. Yeah,
it's not even a question.
Yeah, there's nobody. There's nobody even in the conversation.
No, it's not. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, look, let's take that in and celebrate that, as opposed to making up this wild stuff like Michael Jackson never had a Coachella. Like you said, what the hell is Motown 25 then?
What is that? Like, what is that? Like, Mike, he's older than us. He was
exactly. That's the part.
Mike.
That's the part.
That's the part. It's like you was watching it live, nigga. I know you know.
Yeah.
You were hearing stories.
You were old enough to see what the reaction was the next day. I remember my dad, my dad's a teacher, and he was telling me how the students were going crazy the next day after Motown 25.
Yeah.
That type of stuff. You were old enough to know what was going on when Off the Wall dropped, when Thriller dropped, and you're saying this? Come on.
The Motown 25 moment is like, that's when Mike took over. It was like, oh, that's Michael Jackson, grown-up Michael Jackson. Like, oh, shit.
I told you, man, I was done with Michael Eric Dyson when he got on the Breakfast Club and said that nonsense. I'm like, dude, you old enough to know Michael Jackson from the Jackson 5. You sing the whole thing. What are you talking about?
What?
No. I'm not entertaining that. And I ain't saying that nobody could ever be better than somebody else, but when it's not the truth, it's not the truth.
Man, Mike, money and power is just such a corruptible thing. Nobody's above it,
No, man. It's wild. But I guess we should get up out of here, man.
We got anything else? Is there anything we're supposed to cover? Or are we just talking about?
Well, we just talking shit at this point, man. But
that's all we've been doing anyway.
like you said, I mean, I think we wrapped up the whole episode. And yes, Jay, you're not the only person that can stand on that stage, man. And we would love to see it happen, because
I told you, Mike, all of this, like everything he did today, just makes me want to slide him further down the GOAT list, not further up. It made me want to slide him down. It made me look at Rakim in a better light. It made me look at LL in a better light. Mike, it even made Mike, somebody like Jadakiss, who has just been so wildly consistent and stayed the same the entirety of the time, like all the other legends have for the most part. You know?
DeCarlo said earlier up in the chat, he was saying after today's episode, he thinks Jay-Z's a little overrated. Listen, I don't want to go that far, but I do think
say overrated. I mean, if you think he's the greatest MC of all time, then yes.
If he feels like that there's no one on the level that can stand on a stage with him and play 20 songs, then yes, that would be overrated.
Mike, that's super narcissistic. Like that's next level.
I mean, again, you can be confident in your abilities, but again, I like how Rick Ross approached it. He said he got a 20-pack for anybody goes.
You might want this 20-piece lemon pepper.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, if I don't talk to you before then, I know we're probably not going to be live before then. Merry Christmas to everybody, and we appreciate y'all tuning in, man. We still got 200 people in here, like 2 hours in. And
well, can we ask some questions right quick while we're here?
What kind of questions you want to ask?
I want to know what people think about Benny's new single, the Mr. Pyrex Man.
What do people think about Benny the Butcher's new single, Mr. Pyrex Man? I'm going to tell you what I think about it. I mean, I think it's pretty good.
I think it's the best thing that he's done in some time on a solo mission, quite frankly, Mike. And the thing that I like about it and enjoy about the most is that it sounds on message. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to keep going back to when I told you I loved Lemon. I was like, I know there's going to be better songs, but I love where he's going because it sounds on message.
That's important.
That's important with your core audience. I believe this is going to be Tana Talk 4.
Especially for the type of music they make. It's going to be Tana Talk 4?
I think so. But I'm not sure. I'm not certain. But I like that he's on message. I hope that it is Tana Talk 4. I told you, Mike, Tana Talk 3 is his best project to me. He's making some comments on the hook. He's definitely talking about us, in my opinion.
Yo, Coop came to me at the event and was like, yo, you heard that new Benny, man? I think he's talking about us. You know, when I went and listened.
Mike, I was only saying it because it's like, well, who else criticizes him? Everybody calls him the best. Like, everybody. Mike, and I checked the stats on it. He's not going to admit to it because that would be like, are we made it moment if you were to acknowledge that he's talking about us. But, Mike, nobody critiques him with the honesty that we do. So it is us he's talking about. You know what I'm saying?
I kind of felt that in the whole the Skip Bayless line on the Rick Ross record, which I love, by the way, and I think I praised when it came out.
I thought that. I mean, Mike, that was one of those things that I had scribbled down as potential top 20 verse. You know what I mean? But it's like, that's what I mean when I was saying, it's like, oh, well, you're not mad at us. You're mad at these people that keep gassing you up and giving you a pass.
Listen, you know what I'm saying? I want to make it very clear. And I think if anybody's been listening to the show long enough, I'm a fan of Benny. And I'm a fan of Griselda, period. But at the end of the day, it's like if we were in the 90s and my favorite rapper in the 90s when I was growing up was Method Man, I would have to say the same things that I'm saying about Benny that I would say about Method Man at that time. I mean, at the end of the day, your guys are making Pray for Paris and From a King to a God and Alfredo. I mean, I just have to be honest that, like, Method Man, his guys were making the dirty version, fucking Built for Cuban Links, Iron Man, and it's just what it is, man. Like, we know you can do it. You dope. You've been on these records like George Bondo and, you know what I'm saying, and showed your shit, you know what I mean? But we're looking for a From a King to a God from him.
So, Mike,
I mean, it's just me. I don't know. And that's no criticism. That's just being a fan.
No, Mike. It is criticism because it's fair and it's warranted. And I'm going to tell you why it's warranted. It's because of the capabilities that he has. He is somebody. And this is what I mean. It's like if he's talking about us, I don't think he's really listening, or whoever's feeding him that shit is not really like giving it to him accurate. Right, it's like we're critiquing you on the level like you have the capability to be the best MC in the game, period, because you do, because you have the voice.
He can make a blueprint.
Yes, he can make a blueprint, Mike. I thought he was going to make something reasonable doubt-ish based on what I heard on Supreme Blientele.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those 3 verses on Supreme Blientele, I was like, oh, that's reasonable doubt type of material. You know what I mean? I could see. So
DeCarlo wants to know what we think about the new Boldy, too, before we leave.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I'm going to wrap this thing up. But it's like, so when you have capabilities of winning an MVP award, you know what I'm saying? When you have Hall of Fame talent, what we're really saying is that you've been around long enough that we just want to see you have an MVP season.
That's it.
Or at least be in the running for MVP, like Mike. Every year, KD and LeBron are healthy pretty much. You can go ahead and pencil them in as top 5 for MVP because they're going to perform. And all we're trying to say is that people who are not as talented as you are outperforming you, and nobody else is saying that. Well, it's the truth, Mike. We're gonna go to Boldy right quick, Mike. Super Tecmo Bowl, and what was the other one? Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
And A Price of Tea in China are all better than his last couple of projects. They're better than Plugs 2 and Burden. Boldy's not the MC that you are. He don't have your voice. He don't have your delivery swag. He don't have your connection. Mike, there are people that think, Mike, we had somebody show up to our holiday party that think that we were from the East Coast, and a lot of that has to do about how highly and how much we talk about Griselda, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Nobody wants you to win maybe more than us. How many times I talk about Rick and 97 Ho when you talk about rubber bands and weight, Mike?
Yeah, and we were talking about this before other people were talking about it.
And we were talking about it before other people were. And so all we're saying is like, nah, dude, just go do that on 10. Because here's one thing that he's not. When you say he's Method Man, no, he's not. And I'm going to tell you exactly how and why he's not Method Man. First of all, Method Man was the front man on Enter the 36 Chambers.
No, that's real.
It's one of the truly great and classic and undeniable rap albums of all time. All right? He's the front man on that album. Mike, let's go to Method Man's performances around his 2 albums that didn't fare so well, Mike, because I'm about to run it down. And this is what I mean, because this is why Meth's a legend. Meth's project's not legend. Meth is Mike.
Yeah, he legend. Period.
Mike, the Enter the Wu-Tang performance, Mike. Let's go to just some individual performances, Mike. Shadowboxing. The Round and Round song from that soundtrack. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
4, 3, 2, 1. How High. Left and Right off D'Angelo's album. Ice Cream. Wu Gambino's Living in the World Today, Box in Hand, The What off Ready to Die. How many classic rap albums has this guy helped more classic while he wasn't?
Who wants a versus with Method Man?
Mike, I got stuff people forgot about, like the Hard to Kill track with Spice One, the Vibing joint with Boys to Men, the Got My Mind Made Up with Tupac. Mike, Rawhide off Return of the 36 Chambers. He spazzed on Rawhide.
Yeah.
Mike, Extortion on Hell on Earth. He spazzed on that. Mike, Do What You Feel on Muddy Waters. He spazzed on that. Redman just spazzed harder. Mike.
Redman's going crazy.
Mike, I got a personal favorite of yours, Mike. Half Man, Half Amazing off Soul Survivor.
Great record.
Mike's NYC Everything.
Oh, man. Yo, I remember he had the quotable on NYC Everything.
Mike. His guest appearance list that I just named is some of the best MCing ever done.
No, that's real.
So I'm saying it's like, oh, if we can't get the classic album, can we get that?
That's a fair question. I think we can get a classic album.
Mike, and that's without bringing up I'll Be There For You and Bring the Pain. Ugh.
They're saying that the Method Man Versus has happened already, but it kind of didn't, man. And I love the concert that Method Man and Redman put on.
And Chano getting together to smoke.
It was actually one of my favorite verses, period, because I'm such a fan of those guys.
Well, the energy was great.
I might go watch it tonight, but I would love to see Method Man and somebody else, like straight up, because Method Man's catalog, even with him not having an Only Built for Cuban Links, is insane.
Mike,
honestly, we just went through all the Jay-Z stuff.
Mike, Only Built for Cuban Links isn't only built for Cuban Links without Ice Cream and Wu Gambino's. He is the key component to both of those records.
You know what? Listen, we just went through this Jay-Z stuff. Method Man stuff hits hard.
You heard that? You seen that?
Method Man stuff hits hard.
Mike, listen to this. He's on Ready to Die. He's the front man on Into the Wu-Tang.
Ready to Die. He's on
Ready to Die. He's the only person on Ready to Die, Mike.
He's on All Eyes on Me.
Mike, he's on All Eyes on Me. Mike, he's on Muddy Waters. Mike, he's on Hell on Earth. Mike, he's on the Purple Tape and Liquid Swords and Iron Man and the Dirty version, obviously. Mike, That's about 8 classic rap albums, and part of the classic feel of those rap albums all have to do with his performances. Like,
And that's not counting Bring the Pain. That's not counting the song with Mary.
Mike, that's not counting the fact that he made one of the 10 biggest rap songs of all time. Yes.
It's not counting How High. The
Mike,
song How High.
The song How High. That's what I'm saying, Mike. So it's like, no, Meth don't have no classic album, but Meth got all that alone is Hall of Fame, Mike.
No, real shit.
First ballot. That's first ballot Hall of Fame shit that I just named.
Yeah.
And so, like, ain't nobody being hard. Like, the standard is, yeah. Like,
Somebody said, was Meth on the Pillage? Yeah, Raw High. Not Raw High,
Super
but
Ninjas.
Super Ninjas, yeah.
Super Ninjas.
Yeah.
You're right. Yep. He spazzed on that, Mike.
Yeah.
Mike, everything that I named, he spazzed on.
I love NYC Everything. I'm glad you brought that one out. And I'm glad you brought out the Half Man, Half Amazing, man. Method Man's incredible, man.
Mike, he spat Mike. Even the round.
That's a guy we were too hard on growing up. I'm looking back at it now.
So that's what I'm saying. When he's talking about internet and secretly want to be me, it's like, nah, dude. It's like, I just want you to do at least what Meth did. And I'm not, and we the only ones like saying that shit. Fuck all that. No, do that. Where's How High? Where's for? Because here's the thing. He was doing that, Mike. Like, Mike, it's like this. Don't give us good bread and good wine, and then feed us sour wine and stale bread and expect us to take communion still. It's like, okay, so Tana Talk 3 and Plugs. It's like, no. We at the altar with you. You feel what I'm saying? And right now we not at the altar because the bread's a little stale and the wine's a little sour. And we know the Reverend is capable of giving us a fresher product. So we're not doing communion. We're not doing communion until.
Well, on that note, man, let's get up out of here. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.